All right, welcome a first, I guess, official Football Friday here on The Middle, as we'll be joined by Sports Map coming up in 6 minutes, and then Phil Steele is going to join us this first hour. So it really is a Football Friday here.
Nice. I love Phil Steele.
Yeah, that's going to be a lot of fun, man.
That magazine is like, if you're a football fan or a college football fan specifically, you must get that magazine each and every year.
Are you a subscriber?
I don't subscribe, but I just pick it up. I'll go out to like a Barnes and Noble typically, and right around this time of year. I don't have it yet, but I will pick it up here in the next week or so.
No, you got to have it, man.
Yeah.
I mean, it's enough to get you going in the right direction for the season.
There's a lot of information in there, man. I mean, returning starters and, all kinds of stuff about, specific players and the schedules and everything. It's just like one of those things that kind of, the time of year, it's just something you got to do. It gets you fired up.
Yeah. I do the same thing with college football with, Athens, going into, doing draft analysis and stuff like that. You got Athens, you got this publication, just to give you a little inkling on who's coming out, who's
right.
Who's where they're supposed to be at, so I do the same thing, man.
Oh, the Athlon thing is
the Athlon,
yeah.
Well, Steele has had his own brand of information and research data, and it's usually provided with a good amount of opinion, which is great because you get like a full. It's as comprehensive as it gets. Like the NFL, I think Our Lads is as close as you can get to that.
Yeah, probably.
Yep.
At Phil Steele 042 on Twitter. Got to follow him.
Yeah, now he's going to join us on the phone, not physically here. So
okay.
Screen for that. I don't know how we're going to do that, but we'll get Ron to get him on the phone. Look, seemed like that was the only way to get him. So who knows?
All right. Well, that's cool.
Yeah. Well,
I wonder what his take is on all this conference stuff. About where, what will that magazine look like in the next year or two, as far as different teams being, into different conferences, and I wonder what his take is on all that. Anxious to find out.
No question. I mean, that's huge because at this point you hear that KU is going to the Big Ten.
Yeah, well, Michael Bradley, and who was the other gentleman we had on the day before, Eytan?
Well, that's when it started. When
you got him.
Michael Calabrese.
Calabrese said that first, and then Bradley echoed it the next day.
Right.
Yeah, and then big news about Notre Dame now. You have to, buy a subscription to watch Notre Dame game. Yeah,
I'm not doing that.
We talked about that yesterday.
Yeah, I'm not doing that.
That's huge, man, because they're trying to do the NFL the same way.
They're not good enough. Okay, I'll wait to watch Notre Dame get slaughtered in some sort of playoff game in December or January. All right,
nobody in their right mind is going to pay money to watch Notre Dame.
Well, what's the thing? You hear all the rumors about the NFL doing the same thing?
How?
Like I heard that just through the grapevine, listening to sports talk radio, that they saw the commission having lunch or something like that with the CEO of Apple.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to $30, maybe a $30 subscription for the season on Apple.
$30
Apple Plus
for the season.
I mean, they were just throwing it out there. You know what I'm saying? Like it would, something of that nature. Could possibly something in the.
They already have.
They're already on Amazon.
And they already have a Red Zone.
Right.
Yeah.
And they have the package, the NFL package as well that you could order. Where you can
but it's about exclusive games. You couldn't get it on regular TV. That's what I'm speaking of. You couldn't just pull it up and get it. You have to have whatever party is going to buy the package. You have to buy the package first before you can even watch it. Period.
But see, the NFL, all right, I don't know. Is this did somebody report this? Doesn't make sense because the NFL is too popular to do that. Like the NFL doesn't need to limit who's watching the game. The NFL gets over a third of the country watching every year in the Super Bowl.
Right. So imagine if they made you pay for it also.
But that's the thing, though, is that anytime you make somebody pay for something, you limit who's watching. So their end around of making somebody pay has been partnering up with Amazon, with partnering up in that regard. So you're not paying to watch the NFL. You have an Amazon subscription that allows you to watch the NFL game. So it's much different. Like you can't a la carte that game unless you want to buy an Amazon subscription. But let's be honest, who in this country either A, does not have an Amazon subscription, or B, does not know someone? It's same thing when Netflix came out, right?
Right. Password.
So to your point, Barrett, if you blacked the game out and said the only way you can buy this game is if you pay $59.99 like a Mayweather fight, you're going to lose a lot of people. That'll just be like, plus the NFL is routinely.
Uh-oh. I know some of the Phillies games every now and then are only on some sort of app.
Well, streaming service, like you have to get Peacock.
Right.
That's what I'm saying. Like Peacock, they're making you get Peacock. You can't just buy the game.
Right. You have to get the whole service.
Now, I'll tell you this. I don't know what's going on here. Comrex is just fucking shot.
It is?
Yeah, it's not turning on. So. All right, Ron probably thinking like, what's going on here? I didn't even get the text from Ron, but he knew that we were in because of the Phil Steele stuff. So there it is. There's the music. There's the intro. The Comrex is now working here. I'll tell you what, though. Let me ask you this, guys. All right, because I don't think they can do it week to week. But what if, like, how far away are we from people having to pay for the Super Bowl? Because
that's close,
right? Like.
Yeah,
if the NFL, now they never would because they would just be destroyed, and probably looked at by Congress, etc. But the NFL could legit charge each and every household $99.99 a year for the Super Bowl.
Just the Super Bowl.
Just the Super Bowl. And give you options, right? Like give you options and say, with this, you're paying for it. So maybe you can, you don't have commercials or whatever it may be, right? All the stuff that's gone back to advertisers, they're already paying for visuals and everything like that. Right. The NFL is very smart. I'll let them figure out the broadcast of it. But Barrett just said it, right? Like very close. I would pay it. If the only way I could watch the Super Bowl is to pay $99, then I'm watching the Super Bowl.
Right.
If it's week 6, Cleveland-Jacksonville, I ain't watching Cleveland-Jacksonville.
No, I get that. But like, isn't watching the commercials part of the fun of the Super Bowl? That's part of the experience. Like, would you really want to like weed those out, sift those out? Well,
I mean, if you're a casual Olympic watcher, then maybe that is why you watch the Super Bowl. Look, they're going to do something. I don't know what it would be. Maybe you have the option to watch it commercial free, right? Maybe you have the option. Remember the old satellites where you would watch something on a satellite and they never go to break, even though they were on break. They're hot mics, even though, right? Maybe that's it.
It's kind of like this show.
Exactly.
Right. It's like this show. Exactly. And you know what? The best part about this show for the people is it's free.
That's right. Just ask you to like and subscribe. That's
right.
No, I think maybe you have the option of that. Maybe that's what you have. The option of commercials or some sort of whatever the hell it would be.
Well, would you think college football would go in that direction? Not just Notre Dame, but conferences, the SEC network.
Like, let's work in reverse. Let's look at the national championship game, right? Like the national championship game. See, another thing, like you can't do the whatever the hell the Blockbuster Bowl has become, right? You can't do that. But you could do the national championship game. You could do the Super Bowl. The problem is that it's one, right? Like, what happens if you charge people $99.99, the first Super Bowl that you charge people $99.99, and it's 13-6?
Right. It's like that Rams Patriots game
exactly
a few years ago.
I was thinking of, right?
Sort of like that game last night.
Yeah. Now, what if you had the opportunity to pay $49.99 for the first half, and if you like what you see, you pay the $49.99 at the 2-minute warning, or maybe something like that, or how about this? You pay $100 up front, or you can do $50 in the first half and $70 at the 2-minute warning. So you pay a little bit more, but at least you only pay $50 and you're not tied into the whole game.
Right. I mean, gamblers would have to pay for it because they need in-game opportunities. They need that
That's
that
exactly what it
information
is.
as the game is going unfolding, right?
Yep.
Absolutely. That DFS, anything, bars and all the places, all the usual suspects are going to be there. But look, Barrett's got his huge place where you can go now and watch all this crap. You telling me he's not going to drop $100 on this thing?
All day. I mean, I got the NFL pass so I could break down film. I can watch the game, in peace and rewind it and watch this and see, the little things they're trying to do to combat this, combat that. I mean, I do that already.
Well, here's the thing. Like, we pay, $300, $400 a month or something in total cable bills.
Yeah,
it's exorbitant. And I still don't even get the ACC network. Like, I don't know. I don't know how to get that.
Change your package. That would be the first thing. Like,
but I don't even know if it's available.
Right.
What do you have? Comcast?
Yes. Like the Pac-12 network is on somewhere. It's not where the other sports channels are. You have to go to some other, 300s or whatever, and it's in there somewhere. I could find it. But the ACC network, like, there's a lot of games that I specifically would like to watch. Like if I bet like Wake Forest against NC State, let's say, then I can't watch it. But it's on the ACC network.
Well, see, there lies the problem, man. A lot of the times, when they do get involved with this, getting in bed with these different networks. I mean, like the Longhorn Network,
right?
I mean, how are they going to absorb that into the ACC? I mean, the SEC,
because they have their own network,
right? They have their own network,
which I get.
Yeah.
Well, I think honestly, if I'm the SEC, I do this. I say, look, whenever you play, like whatever you're on your network, which I guess is their whole time, they just get a cut of it, right? Because otherwise, you're not going to have them lose their network.
No.
But you should get a cut. All right, we got Wankle at 12:40.
We got what?
Bob at 12:40.
And Harry Mays.
Now, Phil's going to join us on the phone, so we should probably let Ron Culver know that, right?
Yeah, I think so. He's going to be he'd be the guy calling him, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Bob Wankle's going to join us at 12:40.
Oh, you're all fired up about the Phillies.
No, actually, I'm not. I was on this morning, and even after I was called out by Mike Jarek on Good Day, I doubled down and said I remain that they should have sold. That this is a team that is a seller, not a buyer. And we saw them beat up on a team that's given up.
Right. And they swept them. They did what they're supposed to do and win the games. But I'm not going crazy. People on Twitter, all these Philly fans are just like going crazy right now. I'm like, just relax. They got the Mets this week, and we'll see what they do against them.
Well, and there lies the problem, though, because now, you have Bryce as far as MVP talk now, come on, man. Slow down.
He's playing great.
Whoa. No, that I say, that I brought up this morning, too. And I will say this. If they win the division, he should win the MVP. The top two guys.
If he wins the division.
Well, yes. Okay.
We're in Philadelphia.
Well, hold on. If that's all I'm saying, and they're a half a game out. This is not like an Eagles team that's 4 wins, and we're talking about bounce it back, or a Sixers team that's down, or whatever the hell the Flyers want to call themselves. My only point of it, Barrett, is that they're a half game back, right? So it's a legit conversation to have about Bryce at the very least, not the team. But if in fact they win this division, you got to give it to him, man.
Got to.
Tatis, and who else got hurt that was above him that's leading the league in OPS? I mean, he's number 3. Tatis and another guy just got hurt, and I'm blanking on it like an idiot because it's a very obvious name. Culver, you're the baseball honk of all of us. How do you not know right now? But
I was looking for the text.
So what I'm saying, though, is that he's 3rd in OPS and in the NL, of course. Ohtani is just doing some other stuff, man.
Yeah, he's on a different planet.
But if you look, DeGrom gets hurt, right? So all of a sudden, the bat becomes an issue here, or at least a staple here in the conversation. And I just think that between Tatis going down and what's his name on the Braves? Jeez, who got hurt already? He's out. That's why I couldn't remember him. I mean, my goodness, man. I'm sitting here trying to remember somebody
Brantley?
No. Jeez, forget it, man. I can't believe that Acuna. How am I the only one that knows this to the point where when I'm struggling through it, nobody can even help me? Like, they lost one of their best players. You guys didn't even realize this?
Well, yeah, I guess.
Okay,
I'm telling you, I'm not going to fake it. I'm not dialed in on baseball.
Acuna goes down. All right. Tatis is hurt. DeGrom is out of the picture.
Right.
Yeah. Thanks, Adam. I appreciate you, brother, more so than these two, but just a dollar late. That's all. Man.
Here's $1 short and a day late.
Not Dame Dollar, whose album is coming out soon.
Oh, it is?
Yeah.
Will he be live streaming it from Mercedes Stadium like Kanye did?
Well, the question is, will he be living in Rip City Stadium like Kanye did? Did you see the living conditions that Kanye was in?
No.
It was like he was in some self-hazing monk status.
Oh, yeah?
Man, they had him living in one of these like changing rooms. You know how? Okay, so Barrett, you've seen him, and Harry, if you've covered games, right, you've seen him too, where it's like the ref locker room.
Oh yeah, sure.
Yeah, they had so it's not like a piece of crap. It's not like a back,
but it's bare bones.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, they had him living on a mattress. Now, I think it was him. It's not like, he was a hostage or anything. But
he
of this
voluntarily did it, right?
Exactly. We think all of this to say that because Acuna's out, because Tatis is out, because DeGrom is out, if in fact the Philadelphia Phillies win the division, you're going to have to get used to Barrett. I'm sorry, Bryce Harper being the MVP.
Not going to happen.
It's a possibility.
Well, I'm with you on it not happening, but it is a possibility.
Okay, so you're with him on it not happening. Is that because you don't think the Phillies will win the division? Okay.
Right. Now, look, and this is exactly why. They're playing basic fundamental ball right now. They're playing defense. And how long did it take them to get to this point to just play fundamental baseball? They have the talent on the team to do it, but they weren't doing it. They weren't playing fundamentally sound, man.
Well,
their defense was horrible 3 weeks ago.
They were the worst.
They're playing fundamental. Yeah. So now they're playing basic fundamental football. Why couldn't they do that earlier? Well, so there's a problem. Now their bats are warming up. Why they couldn't do that? Why couldn't they do that earlier? So it's just all right. When are they going to get back to being them? That's all I'm saying.
Well, yeah, once they start playing good teams, we'll see. Now that's what I'm saying. I'm not getting carried away because they whipped up on the Nationals. I mean, the Nationals had a fire sale a week ago.
Exactly.
Okay.
Scherzer looks pretty damn good, by the way, in his new home.
Who does?
Max Scherzer.
Oh yeah. Well, you
see him?
He's good anywhere.
Yeah. Well, I mean, look, getting him out of Washington and seeing him pitch in LA last night was pretty damn impressive, right?
Mm-hmm. I'm still trying to figure out, how he went there rather than the Padres.
I think David Stern picked up the phone posthumously.
Yeah, is that right?
Said, no, that trade's not going to happen. Yeah, he's known for doing that stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
You got to dictate. You got to dictate the tide of the season, man. You got you got to be that guy. So that's what he does.
I'm just looking at the run differential here too in the NL East. Like the Mets and Phillies are both in the negative.
Yeah, and here's the thing: like, when does DeGrom officially come back? Right?
I don't know.
Yeah, Dodgers had a day, absolutely. When is DeGrom? He had the setback, right? So he's not out for the season, or from that standpoint. But that guy's going to come back at some point.
Yeah.
And even yesterday, technically in the afternoon, this is an Aaron Nola start against a team that is flatlined, and they nearly lost it. They needed a big ninth inning to bounce back. Now, think about this: the expectations for this team is that they win the division. We're talking about the Eagles, let's say, where the expectation or maybe they win 6 games and they're going on like a 3-game win streak where they're coming back in the fourth quarter against also bad teams. We're going to keep everything, I think, in context. Maybe Barrett will be like, I told you they're going to win 12 games this year. But for the most part, like, we keep this in context. I don't know, man. Like, to Barrett's point about the defense, that's who you are. At some point, that has an effect on it. Harry, you lay out the run differential where for so long, they just were unable to contain the bullpen and anybody other than Eflin and Wheeler, really, to be honest with you, Nola to a second extent. So now what do you have? I mean, you have a guy going tonight in Kyle Gibson who you've brought in to essentially be the hero, right?
Well, yeah, he's coming into short to be really the third starter.
Well, that's what I'm saying, though.
Effective third starter.
But in a sense, a hero in that you're like last night or yesterday was not what you want from Aaron Nola.
No.
Zach Eflin is still hurt.
Right.
So
Wheeler goes on Sunday.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Like in a series like this, if you have Gibson going, he has to be must win.
Right. And he's up against Stroman, too. Is pretty good.
Yes, that's a lot of pressure, man. And look, 2 guys on the Mets sat out yesterday, so spare me this whole thing about the Marlins stuff. I just, look, I'm just trying to figure out when the hell DeGrom is actually back. That's all.
Mm-hmm.
Because when he comes back, that changes a lot. You could afford to be negative 10 run differential if you're built in with a win every 5 days.
Right.
Isn't that, man, that's such a difference, man, with, because we live, it's almost like we're living paycheck to paycheck, man. That's exactly what we are with the Phillies, man. We don't have anything right now with the little, all right, this stash away for a little saving, you know what I mean? Yeah. No, you're living paycheck to paycheck when you're a Phillies fan. No,
that's exactly right, man. We definitely are like just hanging by a thread.
Right. Like our ace, all right, we can have a great day out of Aaron Nola, but then defense sucks that day. That's kind of what we've been going through for the past couple of weeks, the past couple of months. We don't get everything put together at one time all the time.
They're not a good base running team either.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, now we have news right now.
Breaking news?
Not breaking news yet. But Jimmy Kempski is tempting the football gods with his tweet. John McMullen also put out a tweet regarding our buddy Doug Peterson, who is now just, torching the world with his appearance at Bears camp. But the latest is that Kempski is going surfing. Don't trade for Deshaun Watson at all, really, but especially not in the next hour or two at Eagles. Thank you in advance for your cooperation. Now, if you ever wanted to stick it to somebody who's been covering you and maybe not painting you in the positive light you'd like.
Right. Howie's like, that's that stick figure guy, isn't it? let's pull the trade right now. Kempski's in a wetsuit, off the coast of north central New Jersey. Somewhere.
Matt Mullen's like Joel Embiid reportedly trying to chase down Ben Simmons. Like, what the hell? Where is this guy?
That would definitely be the thing. Or they trade him at what, 6 o'clock, like they do everything 6 o'clock.
Yeah, Friday afternoon news dump. Yeah,
amazing. Yeah. What does that say? If they're news dumping a trade for Deshaun Watson.
Yeah.
Right? Like you don't news dump. You news dump the signing of Andre Drummond.
Right.
You don't news dump
or the extension of Furkan Korkmaz.
Correct.
You know what I'm saying?
That is absolutely right.
3 years, $15 million, and Friday at 6 p.m. that comes out.
Amazing. That's exactly how Doug Peterson stuff coming up. If you are just joining us, we're live and local on the JAKIB Media YouTube page from the Fritz and B and Cooley Law Studios. If you know someone who suffered a personal injury, contact Brian Fritz directly. The Middle is sponsored by Pure Bull Beef Jerky. Get yours now. Go to steersnacks.com, and we are back across the board here. Reminder, Phil Steele's going to join us at 11:40. Bob Wankel from Crossing Broad at 12:40. All here on The Middle.
I get scared sometimes.
Of a lot of things.
Joining in.
Decisions.
The dark.
The dark.
But I once heard someone say,
but as I always say,
it's okay to be afraid.
As long as you face the fear.
And keep moving forward.
Wherever you are in life, count on the name trusted in insurance for over 80 years. Independence Blue Cross.
The savoring taste of a good bag of beef jerky is so enjoyable at any time of the day, as long as you can find it. Here's what we suggest. Pure Bull Beef Jerky is our answer, and soon it will be yours. Locally produced in the Philadelphia region, this high-quality, healthy protein snack is easy to secure. Go to steersnacks.com, and you'll see hot garlic, tropical heat, Pure Bull dry rub, and our favorite, Huck and Fod. What's that? Huck and Fod. Go now to steersnacks.com.
Welcome to the Wildwoods, the perfect place where you can safely do everything or nothing at all. Catch a wave, take a nap, go for a drive, grab a bite. It's your vacation, and we're doing everything we can to make it a safe one. The Wildwoods. Your vacation, your way.
The International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers, Local Union 98, is a proud sponsor of The Labor Show with J. Doc and Krause every Saturday night from 6 till 8 p.m. IBEW Local 98's highly trained and superbly skilled electricians are the best in the business, setting the highest safety standards in the electrical industry. So when you're planning your next industrial, commercial, or residential project, choose an IBEW Local 98 union contractor. Learn more at ibew98.org.
Field of life, First Trust Bank is there for you. Champions on 3. 1, 2, 3. Because Philadelphia dreams deserve a Philadelphia bank.
This is a key. It's a family tree. It's a pair of wings. It's a secret handshake. And a ticket to anywhere in the world. It's more than a uniform. It's the door to a world most people only dream of. There's Strong, and then there's Army Strong. Try it on at GoArmy.com.
You're listening to The Middle on the SportsMap Radio Network.
Presented by Rocket Mortgage.
Live from the O'Reilly Auto Parts Studios. Here's Eytan Shander, Barrett Brooks, and Harry Mays.
So just bump the Dodgers up to 2.5 tonight, plus 145. Just looking at this, the Angels are without Ohtani, Jared Walsh, Mike Trout, and Anthony Rendon.
Wow.
So
that's like a who's who of the Angels.
Right. Yeah, it's a pretty powerful. Now, some of these guys already hurt, right, but banged up, and then Ohtani out. So looking at that, I mean, the line itself was minus 238 on the money line. Now, you only get minus 105, right, at minus 1.5 for the run line. So I think a lot of people are going to look at that and say, oh, wow, all these guys are out. Let me get that. I don't think this is the time in which, like, it's a trap. I wouldn't use that word. I don't think the books are baiting anything along these lines. I think the books are just relying on the public to say, oh, wow, I get a really good break at minus 1.5 and not push it to 2.5 or even 3 at plus money. I think the books are just going to rely on the lazy element of it instead of the other part of it. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. Perfect sense.
Okay. Now I got to run a bottle up. Give me 2 seconds. Go ahead. You make it.
Now, Barrett, the stream is saying that and a Friday afternoon news dump would be the cutting of Andre Dillard.
That would be amazing, man, because that's something they would do.
Right.
Cutting Dillard.
Do you think that's possible?
No, because he's a first rounder, and they'd feel as though he'd have egg on his face. But if it was really left up to if you look what he's done, how he's produced, it'd be something
more like a 7th round pick, and Mailata's more towards the 1st round pick.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's amazing.
He's been outplayed, so it's not even a question of who's going to start, because there's no way that they could justify starting Andre Dillard in front of
ahead of Mailata.
No,
yeah,
you just couldn't do it. I mean, it would, us as writers and people that cover the team would go nuts.
Mm-hmm.
You haven't heard anybody write anything positive about Dillard. That's because there's no positivity to see. Now everybody say, "Oh, you're not sitting down." Well, they might say, "Oh, you're not sitting down. You're not watching the film." I don't have to watch the film to see what I see on the field. I see it.
I'm really anxious for this game.
We all
last night's game, I got a little taste.
Yeah.
There's backups.
You're waiting on the Eagles game?
Yeah, I'm anxious for the Eagles game on Thursday night.
Yeah, but I mean, come on. Jalen Hurts is going to play much.
But I'm interested in the this Mailata Dillard thing.
I don't know how much of
your my boy Adam. What's up?
Morning.
Dillard will probably play a lot, though, don't you think?
I mean, what's a lot? What's a lot? A quarter?
I think there's with
couple
those
series.
A lot of those two were out early last night, though.
With those two, they probably go half and half. Jordan will start, play a half. Yeah, that's most definitely.
You're not going to have Andre Dillard out there with who the hell is the Joe Flacco, whoever the third
Mullins.
Yeah.
Mullins.
Oh yeah, definitely.
You've got guys on the chart that are below him though that are out there.
They're trying to find this starting left tackle, and they're going to try to exhaust every means of doing it, giving this kid every opportunity to exhaust every chance they have for this kid to play, man.
Well, what does playing with the threes do, though? I mean,
getting the reps, giving them an opportunity to really
maybe
show
give
what
him
he can
some
do.
confidence.
Yeah, going against the third team guy on another team.
That's like me lifting 300 pounds with styrofoam. The hell is that going to do for me? And then I go into the weight room with Barrett and I get suffocated.
Well, but see, you got to his current. He doesn't have at this point a firm sense of he can play at this level. He's not totally bought into him being able to play.
Barrett or me, by the way.
What's that?
Freezing.
No.
Am I freezing?
No.
Okay.
Everything's fine.
That was weird.
Yeah. No, but I mean, it's sort of like, can you compare it to a golf game, like where you're not playing in the WGC, you're playing in the alternate event against lesser guys, but you end up winning it, having a really good week can give you confidence back in your abilities.
Right. You can't really equate it to the yips. He just lacks the drive to be great. And that's what it is.
So playing with the thirds ain't helping, man. You just need to get rid of a guy. If he doesn't have
it could.
If he gets whipped by the thirds,
right, it'll go to
the problem.
But if he's whipping the guy in front of him, you know what I'm saying? That'll give him confidence. All right, maybe I can play in this league. Because regardless if you're a second or third team, you're still in the NFL. So you're talented enough to be here. But if he can go out there and beat up on some guys, then, maybe give him a little confidence.
If he wasn't a first-round pick, would he still be on this team?
Oh, absolutely not.
Right.
No, but that's my point, is that we're not even talking seconds. Like, third stringers would start the second half. That's at least, what we'll see in this first real preseason.
You're right. Yes, you're right.
So he'll be out there with threes and fours.
All right, let me give you an example. My rookie year, I played every single snap of every preseason game to get me ready to go into the season.
And you were a second-round pick.
I was a second-round pick, and I started as a rookie.
Also, though, let's add some context here. That's like 7 CBAs ago where you and your union weeded the hell out of that, right? And you're like, we ain't doing that anymore. So, look, I mean, you know exactly what that was. You didn't want to be out there those 4 games.
Oh, hell no.
This preseason thing, we got to whittle this thing down.
Right. So I played in 4 games. And then I finally hit the wall, going to the season. When a rookie hits the wall, like you get very least 11 games in college football, then the season's over with. Right. Well, I had played four preseason games. Then I hit like week 13, and I had finally hit the wall.
Yeah,
I was done. I'm like, you know what? I don't know if I can play the rest of the season. So I in practice one time, and I broke my thumb in practice, and my coach was saying something, man, and yelling, and I said, you know what? You say one more thing to me, I'm gonna choke the out of you. And
you said that to your coach?
Yes, yeah, Bill Callahan.
Yeah,
Bill Callahan. And what did he do? He said something to me. So I'm chasing him around practice. The veterans grab me. Ray Rhodes sends me in. Get in there. Take your butt to. So I'm on the practice field. I walk back to the stadium. I go in there, and this is like 45 minutes before practice was over with. I turn around. I start packing my stuff up. I know he just cut me. So I'm packing my stuff up. I'm about to get out of here. Then when they break practice, all the vets coming in. So, ooh, B. Brooks, ooh. So I know I'm cut then. So they go to meetings. And I'm sitting in my locker still packing my stuff. And Ray Rowe walks in the locker. He's, what the hell are you doing? I said, what do you mean? What am I doing? You just cut me. I didn't just cut you. Get the meeting. Get the meetings. You come talk to me after meetings. So I went and talked to Ray Rhodes after meetings. He was like, man, this just happens, man. You hit the wall. I understand that. So I ended up staying in his office, and we started drinking moonshine. And he was telling me old stories about, LT and all those type of guys at Pro Bowls and, guys he played under, you know what I'm saying? Ronnie Lotz and all that. Just, he told me stories, man. And I ended up sleeping in his office. He went home.
You're like Kanye.
Right.
You're like Kanye West. Did you
I was
levitate?
so drunk I couldn't leave.
Did you levitate at the next practice?
No, I was drunk. That's what it was. I was so drunk I couldn't leave. I couldn't drive. So he made me stay there. I got up at like 7 o'clock, went and steamed, and I was ready for practice the next day, man.
Well, what happened with Callahan? Like you and Callahan. Did he bring Callahan in to make peace?
No. But see, I was a rookie.
3 Callahans of all time, by the way. That's a great last name.
Well, Dirty Harry Callahan.
No, I meant sports. Like, isn't that an NFL name?
Callahan?
Yeah, I thought there's some others.
I you know what? At that point, I didn't like Callahan, man.
No?
Because I mean, I had veteran players on that offensive line, like Guy McIntyre, Riley McKenzie.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like the whipping boy, man. It's like, he'd be telling me I'm starting left tackle, but he's telling me about what the right guard Lester Holmes is doing. Yeah. See, Brooksy, you see the right guard? See, this is what you can't do. You can't do this. I'm like, why are you talking to me about something that Lester Holmes did? So he's yelling at me, trying to get the point to Lester.
Phil Steele is going to join us coming up next.
I got a Callahan at my golf club that pounds like 30 high noons a day.
What about Bryce Callahan? At one point, he was the 7th best nickelback in the NFL, man.
The band Nickelback?
No.
Oh.
Bryce.
Mm.
The position Nickelback.
I thought Rico did a nice job last night.
Who?
Yeah.
Rico, the backup running back for Dallas.
Oh.
He really did.
Yeah, Dowdle or whatever his name is. Was it Rico Dowdle? Is that his name?
Well, I had that I had King of Queens on the television, and I had that on the computer. Once I realized the over was cooked and PGF was wrong.
Yeah, you see no mention of that today. Did you notice that?
No, I missed that.
I sent that to you.
What's that?
I sent him a tweet about, somebody was popping off about a win last night. I'm like, what about that total?
Unbelievable. I made it back with these 2 Russian ping pong games this morning.
Beautiful.
And I lost it again on this tennis. This woman was like prime for an upset, and of course she got beat. So.
Well, the South Carolina.
Yeah, Dowdle did.
Dowdle,
yeah. Now here's a tweet I saw last night from a guy who does radio in Pittsburgh. Apparently, I never heard of him. He's verified and he has 40,000 followers.
What's his name? Give us the name of the guy.
Filipponi. Have you ever heard of Andrew Filipponi?
I think I've had him on my show before.
All right. Well, he tweeted
Filipponi. What's the at? Just give me the at.
FILL. Oh, at the Pony Express, spelled PONI Express.
I think I've had Andrew on before.
He said, very solid debut from Dwayne Haskins.
Yes,
so
he did.
Comfortable, so poised. Because through one pass over 10 yards.
Right.
Are you serious? This is where we're setting the bar for a Pittsburgh Steeler quarterback?
No, it's more so pre-snap. He was able to get the ball out of his hands fast. You knew
yeah,
the ball
for 4-yard passes. That's my point.
But still, though, you can't always go down the field, man. Sometimes that's what the play dictates. It's what the defense is dictating. Get the ball out of your hands, because that's what's going to get Hurts in trouble. His ability not to process before he gets there. If you go there, they're going to blitz. You got to get the ball out of your hands and get it to the guy that's behind the blitz. So if they bring the M&B blitz or the safety and the sandbacker from the right side, you got to throw it behind them because that's a vacated area, and you got to know you got to go to that place.
He's also though a former first rounder who's back out there throwing to 4th rounders at 4th rounders.
Good.
Well, no, but I'm saying is there's context to this.
Yeah.
It would be like taking Hurts or somebody in that regard and putting him in a situation where in the second half. Look,
boy, we know he's an Indian giver.
Well, Haskins didn't screw up. I think that's worth mentioning. And
that's what it is. That's exactly what it is.
He didn't fumble the ball twice like Mason Rudolph did.
Here we go. Here we go.
Auto Parts Studios. Here's Eytan Shander,
Jeez.
Barrett Brooks, and Harry Mays.
It's a good thing our next guest is not on the stream here and is on the phone, because he probably would have hung up after hearing the nonsense between the three of us. But it is our pleasure and our honor. And I mentioned the name Phil Steele joining us today to both Barrett Brooks and Harry Mays, and I don't remember the level of giddiness that I received from both individuals here. It is an honor and a pleasure to welcome Phil Steele, of course, philsteele.com, at philsteele042 on Twitter. Legendary for everything you need to know for the world in and around college football. Myself, Eytan Shander, Barrett Brooks, Harry Mays. Phil, it's a pleasure. Thanks for joining us today.
Well, that's a hell of an introduction. I appreciate that very much. How are you guys doing today?
Good, man. Good.
Doing great. Counting down the days till college football season. And I was just telling the guys that this is that time of year where you got to get out to the bookstore and you got to order up, pick up the copy of the college football preview. It's a must-have.
Yeah, it's 352 pages, and it's like getting 130 different media guides all rolled into one. And the great thing about it is all the information's on the same spot on every page for quick, easy reference. And it's once you get your hands on one during a year, you can't be without it in future years. But I'll tell you what, guys, how much more excited are we for college football this year than last year at this time? And we're wondering if we're even playing college football.
Right.
Schedules are changing every single day. This year we've got normalcy, we've got fans in the stands, we've got set schedules. I'm just super pumped about the college football season.
No question. To be able to see an athlete out there as opposed to guessing whether he's going to be, getting better, going into this season, man. I see a lot of guys that didn't have the opportunity to really showcase who they are, what they are, and if they even belong to be at the next level. But, going into this season, we see the top quarterback's going to be the guy from Carolina. But, who else are you looking for?
Howell.
Sam Howell, yeah, Sam Howell. Who else are you looking for to have a pretty good year this year?
Well, my favorite to win the Heisman Trophy this year is actually Spencer Rattler of Oklahoma. And Sam Howell's an excellent QB and should have a great year. He does lose his top two running backs and top two receivers from last year. Meanwhile, Spencer Rattler, he's got my number one rated offensive line in front of him, number two set of receivers, and number four set of running backs to work with. And as we know, in the Lincoln Riley offense, whenever they've had a veteran quarterback, they've actually won. It's happened three times. They've got two Heisman trophies and a Heisman Trophy finalist. And with Spencer Rattler, if you watched him last year, he got benched against Texas in the second quarter. Loved the way he responded. He was a different quarterback down the stretch. He's going to have a big year. But a couple other names to throw out at you. Matt Corral of Ole Miss. He was the perfect fit for the Lane Kiffin offense. Had a great year last year despite not having spring practice. He'll have a big year this season. And then Keaton Slovis of USC. USC could contend for a possible Pac-12 title, possible playoff berth, and he led a lot of late comebacks last year. And then three quarterbacks who haven't been starters, but you'll know their names by the end of the year. DJ Uiagalelei of Clemson, Bryce Young of Alabama, and C.J. Stroud of Ohio State. All these guys will be first-year starting quarterbacks with great supporting casts. At the end of the year, I'm sorry they'll be Heisman finalists, even though they haven't started yet.
Wow. And
one more tip.
Yeah, go ahead. I'm just looking at the futures. As Phil is laying them out, I'm just looking at where the odds are. Go ahead.
But one quarterback that I saw, I did the ACC championship game 2 years ago. But I saw Emory Jones. He played during red zone opportunities. Does he have enough as far as wide receivers? And he let Pitts is gone. A couple of receivers are gone. Does he have enough to make that offense? Because we all know, that Florida's always going to be competing, in that conference. Oh,
I'm sorry. That's my fault.
What happened?
Go ahead. I'm back. No, we didn't lose Phil. It's just I switched. Go ahead, Ron. I'm back on the. No, I'm off the brick. I'm back on the regular. Hello. Yeah, there we go. Okay.
There he is.
Were you able to hear the question, Phil?
Last I heard was ACC championship game.
Well, I saw the AC championship game. Then I turned around, I saw, Emory Jones and him playing, he's a red zone threat type of quarterback, with the quarterback that they had there. Where do you see Florida going, with the SEC as far as being one of the tops with Emory Jones at the helm?
Well, I definitely like Emory Jones at quarterback. In fact, you think of the Dan Mullen offense, you think of mobile quarterback, and Emory Jones is a guy that's got the size you want at 6'2", 210 pounds. He's got the mobility that you want in the Dan Mullen offense. So I think he'll have a pretty good year. But as far as Florida in the East goes this year, I think the cards are stacked against them. I like Georgia a lot in the SEC East for this reason. When you look at Florida this year, they only have 3 true SEC home games. That means 5 of them are away from home. They
wow.
have 5 starters back on offense and 5 on defense this year. They lose guys like Kyle Trask, Kadarius Toney, Kyle Pitts, and Grimes are all gone off the offense. And the defense last year allowed 400 yards per game. The other thing that they got going against them is their draws from the West. Whereas Georgia avoids Alabama, Texas A&M, and LSU, Florida not only draws Alabama, they have to play LSU on the road. Meanwhile, Georgia's schedule, they only have 3 true SEC road games this year, and they're all against teams that have first-year starting quarterbacks in Auburn, Vanderbilt, and Tennessee. Also with Georgia, they've got a veteran quarterback in J.T. Daniels that did great in his last 4 starts. They've got 8 starters back on offense. Their defense last year only gave up 20 points per game, was a lot better. So I think the deck is stacked for Georgia to win it. And then one more thing I want to toss out to you. I talked to 110 of the 130 head coaches this year, and almost everybody has 15, 16, 17 returning starters. Florida's one of a handful of teams that only has 10 this year.
Wow. Hey, Phil, what's your outlook in the Big Ten? What kind of a year is Jim Harbaugh going to have?
I think it's just going to be a middle of the pack, believe it or not. I don't consider them an East contender. In fact, I've got Penn State and Indiana ranked ahead of them in the Big Ten East. Ohio State's a clear-cut favorite. And even though Ohio State, did lose a bunch, I think they'll be a double-digit favorite in every single game this year. And yes, that includes their trip to Ann Arbor at the end of the year. Well, right now in Vegas, they're a 13.5-point favorite. Now, if a quarterback emerges, whether it's Cade McNamara or Alan Bowman, Michigan's got a chance of making some noise. But when you look at their schedule this year, there's just too many tough games. They draw Washington, my number 1 surprise team early on. They have to play Wisconsin, Nebraska, Penn State, Maryland all on the road. They host Ohio State, host Indiana, host last year's Big Ten West champ Northwestern. So a lot of toss-up games. I think their ceiling this year, if everything goes perfect, is probably only 9-3. Meanwhile, their basement's probably 5-7.
Wow. Indiana is definitely interesting, especially from a future standpoint, to take advantage of them ahead of time to see how this thing plays out. I wonder, just kind of bouncing around a little bit, Phil, if we can. I know ahead of time there were 2 schools that we were going to ask you to pay attention to, both being alma maters of individuals here on this show. Not me, of course, because I went to Gettysburg, and I'm sure of all schools, the Centennial Conference is probably not on your radar, and nobody's going to fault you for that. But let's start, of course, with the team that is here local to us that we're always looking at and always keeping an eye on. Harry Mays, of course, went there, as many others here in this city, and that's Temple. What is your general overall outlook on TU? It looks like from video that we see, they get the transfer portal cooking and working, and could have a pretty good looking
Juwan Mathis.
Yes, back there as well.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. I was talking, and by the way, guys, we can talk about any team. We can talk about Akron, ULM. It doesn't matter to me. Any of the 130 FBS teams. But talking about Temple, last year, it was interesting. I talked to Navy's head coach, Ken Niumatalolo, and he said the 2 teams he felt that in the American Conference were most hurt by COVID was Navy, where they didn't practice hitting, and Temple, which, of course, had their practices disrupted in Philadelphia. I mean, the first 5 games of the season got postponed. They couldn't even practice certain weeks. And he thought that the lack of physicality really hurt him. So I think you're going to see Temple be a much improved team this year. You got to like Juwan Mathis at QB. Iverson Clement coming over from Florida, and Rayvon Bonner from Illinois at running back. That's a nice addition. Ahmad Anderson coming in to join Jaden Blue at wide receiver. And defensively, let's hope the defense is improved, but they bring in a Kentucky transfer and Jaquavian Mahone. They bring in another transfer from North Carolina, Lassine Toure. You look in the secondary, they had Northwestern transfer at cornerback and Cameron Weiss, who could be one of the better in the league. The schedule's tough. I think the American's the toughest conference out there. It's going to be tough for Temple to get back to a bowl game this year, but I think you will see a much improved product on the field after their 1-6 season last year.
Do you think that American Conference could look a lot different here in the next year or two with this whole Big 12 situation? What's your take on that?
Yeah, I was thinking that, when the American Conference was asking the Big 12 to let them in and the Big 12 denied them, now it's probably going to be the Big 12 asking the American Conference to let them in. And 2 years ago, I actually rated the American Conference the 5th best conference in college football ahead of the ACC. So it's a league that's gaining national respect, and they really could use a team like Cincinnati to perhaps run the table, pull upsets of Indiana and Notre Dame on the road, and maybe even make the playoff this year to really bolster it. But I think now the American Conference is going to be an aggressor when it comes to expansion rather than worried about their teams leaving.
What about Kansas State, Phil? We got to ask, just for Barrett, just to see how bad it could get.
Well, last year, 2 years ago, they made a bowl. I thought that Coach Kleiman did a great job getting into a bowl the first year. And then last year, they opened up the season pretty strong, but then they lose their starting quarterback, Skylar Thompson. And teams are able to gang the line of scrimmage against Will Howard, the freshman, and he wasn't able to get him off the line. And after a great start last year where they were actually 5-1 and number 16 in the country at midseason, they lost their last 5. But this year, they got 10 starters back on offense. Coach Kleiman told me he feels Skylar Thompson, their quarterback, is NFL caliber. Deuce Vaughn is worth the price of admission. This guy can take it to the house anytime he touches the ball. They add in a Daniel Imatorbhebhe from USC in Illinois to come in at the tight end spot. So I think they're going to have a very capable offense this year, provided Thompson stays healthy. And even if they have to go to Howard, Howard now has experience, and the defense looks strong. So I believe they're going to be a bowl caliber team once again.
I cannot believe you just rattle off names like that, man. Because I mean, that's incredible, man. But you're right. The running back, Vaughn, he's pretty good. He's explosive. Howard got a lot. He's a local kid up here in Downingtown, Pennsylvania. Yep, Downingtown, Pennsylvania. So I just can't believe it, man. But at the end of the day, what are you feeling about this? The probable new playoff system they have coming in, and how it's going to give these other teams opportunities to get into the swing of things.
Yeah, well, I've always been a 14 playoff advocate for the basis of I love how strong the regular season is, how much it means. I love how much the conference championship games mean. I also love the bowls. I think that they're a great thing for the teams, and if the bowls were to go away, I think that would hurt college football. However, as you touched on, I mean, we've had this basically the same 4 or 5 teams the last 4 or 5 years. So they needed to do something to change it. We are going to a 12-team playoff, and that's going to help the American Conference out greatly because now they're almost guaranteed a berth in there every year, and they can go out and recruit and say, hey, we can play for a championship every year and be legitimate about it. So I think it does help the little guys out.
Phil, I'm just curious, and these guys are going to jump right in and make fun of me because I'm mining for gambling advice, which, look, I mean, you are the premier.
We all know it. We all know it.
College football. So, of course, if you like a team, if you like Florida Atlantic as an outside shot to win Conference USA, then I want to know about it. Is there a not so big conference that you have been looking at? Odds aside, but just looking at maybe Conference USA as a perfect example where there are 1 or maybe 2 heavy favorites to win this conference, and you're looking at an outsider. You're looking at maybe the 3rd, 4th, or even 5th team that has a legit shot, Sun Belt, something along those lines where maybe the average fan isn't watching and could actually be paying attention to a team that's newer to them this year.
Yeah, and I'll be giving. Let me first of all give you the one that I think has got the biggest difference this year, and that is going to be the Washington Huskies. Now, granted, they're Power 5,
right?
I don't think folks really follow the Pac-12 all that much, but they're not even picked to win their own division this year. In fact, they're probably rated about the 5th best team in the Pac-12. I have them my number 1 surprise team in the country. Now, a surprise team is a non-top 10 team that I think actually has a shot at making the playoff. Back in 2016, I had Washington as my number 1 surprise team. They actually made the playoff as a non-top 10 team in the preseason, and that was good. Then 2018, we had Notre Dame as my number 1 surprise team. They weren't in the top 10 the preseason. They made the playoff. Last year was Texas A&M as my number 1 surprise team coming off a 5-loss season, and there they were. Selection Sunday was between A&M and Ohio State to make the playoff. I've got Washington, my number one surprise team this year, and their over-under win total is only 9. They're good underdog to win the Pac-12 because, like I said, they're about the 5th best choice. But when I like Washington, they've got a big offensive line that averages 328 pounds per man, 2 veteran quarterbacks. They've got a very good tight end room led by Eytan. And defensively, Jimmy Lake is a mastermind. He's only had 2 and 6 returning starters on defense the last 2 years. This year he has 8. Then the schedule. I think this year home field edge is going to mean a ton because fans are allowed back. They were deprived of football last year. So you watch your toughest games at home. Well, they avoid Utah and USC out of the South. Their 2 toughest games are Oregon and Arizona State. They get them both at home in Husky Stadium, which is going to be just frighteningly loud. I've got Washington favored in all 12 games this year. I think they can actually make the playoff. So go ahead and load up on them early because they're way undervalued right now.
Phil, we can't thank you enough, sir. This was the most jam-packed 15 minutes we've spent on this program since its existence. Thank you. So philsteele.com, we have it up on the stream so people can see. Thank you so much.
Yeah, and don't forget to get the magazine, Barnes & Noble, Books A Million, philsteele.com. But
I'm on it.
Football
I'm on it.
All right. There you have it.
Thanks, Phil.
3 on the network. Woof.
I almost shed a tear.
That was the latest I think we could possibly go on sports before we got in trouble. We probably already didn't. But
that was amazing.
Dude, his delivery is so good. Like he packs so much information. You know, you could tell he's done a lot of radio.
Right.
Because he tightens everything and TV. Yeah, he tightens everything up and he gives you a lot.
That was amazing.
Yeah. You know, the Clemson, Ohio State, and Alabama in the college football playoff era have occupied 16 of the 28 slots.
Wow.
7 years, 4 slots, 28 total. Those 3 schools occupy 16 of them.
I wonder how many, when you actually look at years in which they got the benefit of the doubt from being at the top of the rankings
to start the season.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. Yeah.
Like, I wonder how many years you could actually make an argument that they didn't belong. Maybe 1 or 2. I'm not saying that they don't exist, but I think that the general, it's like, oh, you know, if everybody started off equal, maybe, but the bias is always going to be there.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like,
well, the bias is going to be there because they have the athletes to back it up.
Yeah. They're always
that's where kids want to go.
Classes. Yeah.
You know, Trott's son's there now.
What's that?
Jeremiah Trott's son is at Clemson.
He's at Clemson, yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, it's ridiculous.
Clemson, though, is playing with fire, and that if anybody in that conference actually ever really, truly caught up,
right?
Look, I'm not saying no knock on Mac Brown, but if anybody really caught up, then they're in trouble because they can't afford a loss like Alabama or anybody in the SEC can. Now, I'm sorry.
It's amazing how that Florida State has fallen off the way they have.
They don't even exist, do they?
Right, right.
I mean, to that, man.
Seriously.
They're plus 5,000 to win, not the national championship, the AAC.
Oh, my God.
Oh, ACC, sorry. AAC.
Wow. He likes the American Conference, man.
I tell you,
he does.
Would probably be plus 5,000 to win the AAC.
Yeah, probably.
All right, so who in the AAC does he like outside of Natty? Because that's where the value is gone, right?
Well, probably UCF, maybe Houston.
What about Tulsa? Memphis loses their main guy because he's here now.
Yeah.
Yeah, Tulsa lost their
oh,
main
yeah, you're right.
That big linebacker. Yeah, he's a stud. He was a first-round pick.
Yeah. So, I mean, I mean, this what I live for, man. I love the fact, you know, he was just rattling off things. I mean, he knew more about, you know, Deuce Vaughn than I did. Deuce Vaughn is only 5'5", 170 pounds, 180 pounds.
Yeah.
But he was fast as all outdoors, quick, small running back, man, but he's good, man. Very, very good.
I bet he could
Thompson well too.
I bet he could rattle off like depth charts for like the top programs, like every name on the first string depth chart.
I bet that, you hear Joey B? Did you see what Joey B wrote?
What's that?
No.
Called him Rain Man.
Yeah. It's true.
I mean, he was just going with it.
How long has he been doing this, man? 30 years?
Right.
Yeah.
I mean,
that was amazing.
Yeah, I've been picking up that magazine since probably like 03.
Me too. Me too.
All right, we're back at the second hour. Bob Wenkel's going to join us. We'll figure some other stuff out in between then. And then get you ready for the weekend. Not the weekend.
No, not the weekend. He performed at the halftime.
We're back.
I get scared sometimes.
Of a lot of things.
Joining in.
Decisions.
The dark.
The dark.
But I once heard someone say,
But as I always say,
it's okay to be afraid.
as long as you face the fear.
And keep moving forward.
Wherever you are in life, count on the name trusted in insurance for over 80 years. Independence Blue Cross.
The savoring taste of a good bag of beef jerky is so enjoyable at any time of the day, as long as you can find it. Here's what we suggest. Pure Bull beef jerky is our answer, and soon it will be yours. Locally produced in the Philadelphia region, this high-quality, healthy protein snack is easy to secure. Go to steersnacks.com, and you'll see hot garlic, tropical heat, Pure Bull dry rub, and our favorite, Huck and Fod. What's that? Huck and Fod. Go now to steersnacks.com.
Welcome to the Wildwoods, the perfect place where you can safely do everything or nothing at all. Catch a wave, take a nap, go for a drive, grab a bite. It's your vacation, and we're doing everything we can to make it a safe one. The Wildwoods. Your vacation, your way.
The International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers, Local Union 98, is a proud sponsor of The Labor Show with J. and Krause every Saturday night from 6 till 8 p.m. IBEW Local 98's highly trained and superbly skilled electricians are the best in the business, setting the highest safety standards in the electrical industry. So when you're planning your next industrial, commercial, or residential project, choose an IBEW Local 98 union contractor. Learn more at ibew98.org.
Field of life, First Trust Bank is there for you.
Champions on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Because Philadelphia dreams deserve a Philadelphia bank.
This is a key. It's a family tree. It's a pair of wings. It's a secret handshake. And a ticket to anywhere in the world. It's more than a uniform. It's the door to a world most people only dream of. There's Strong, and then there's Army Strong. Try it on at GoArmy.com.
Going out to French Creek today.
Yeah, where's that?
It's across the street from Stonewall, out near Morgantown.
I'm going fishing this weekend, man.
Morgantown. Wow.
Yeah, I joined it.
Who?
I joined there.
Why?
Second club.
Isn't that not a lot of money there?
No, not for a second club membership.
Was it all under the same like umbrella?
No, but they, they.
Oh, you're playing like minimal golf. That's what
Yeah.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Do you need somebody to?
I got guys out there.
What is it called?
French Creek.
Not French Creek Outfitters.
No.
I was just thinking the same thing.
Right?
No.
What?
French Creek Outfitters.
Whoa. First thing that pops up is death. French Creek Outfitters death.
Really?
Uh-oh.
I hate to do it.
Oh, somebody got shot at the gun range that they have? Because French Creek Outfitters has a range.
I think somebody might have committed suicide.
Oh.
Yeah, that's what it looks like.
Oh, my.
I don't want to pontificate, nor... I'm not in here to guess. Dude, every other day, this guy is trending on Twitter.
Who's that?
This Mike Lindell, is that the pillow?
Yeah,
dude?
yeah, that's the pillow guy, my pillow guy.
Well, like, how is he still of interest to people?
He keeps putting out different stuff now.
Oh, is that
I think
right?
he's got towels out now, like my pillow towels. And he did sheets, all kinds of stuff. Like he just keeps bringing out new products.
Wow.
I'm envious.
I'm telling you, you create one thing, man. All right, so this is the next invention. If you create something that would keep the binky in the mouth of a newborn before they are able to physically keep it in on their own, something that can connect.
Like a strap around their face.
Something, right? I'm telling you, I can get us on Shark Tank. All right?
Yeah.
Yes.
And then you can hawk it on QVC.
Well, there's the thing, right? Lori Grenier is the one who is basically in charge of QVC.
Lori Grenier?
Yeah, well, she's Ms. QVC.
Okay. Well, I have a girl that I need to introduce to you.
Okay.
Because she needs to be on QVC.
For what?
She could sell any type of like hair products, anything like it's incredible.
Well, I'm not giving anybody up any airtime that could be mine.
Well, I know. Yeah, you see.
Selfish, damn.
I'm telling you, man. We get this damn thinking creation going.
In partnership with JAKIB Media.
I hate to do it, man.
And you, my friend, are
It's over.
The Middle starts now on the SportsMap Radio Network.
Presented by Rocket Mortgage. Home loans that fit your life. Rocket can.
Live from the O'Reilly Auto Parts Studios. Here's Eytan Shander, Barrett Brooks, and Harry Mays.
All right, second hour now, as we'll be joined by Bob Wankel in the 11:40 segment. That'll be on the stream.
12:40.
Oh yeah, pardon me, 12:40.
Yeah.
That'll be on the stream. And then from there, we just have to fill with Eagles camp. No practice today, right?
No, nothing today.
The only thing we got today was that Doug Peterson was at Bears practice.
Yeah. Well, he's buddies with the coach.
Yeah, they're
good friends. Back a long time.
Yeah.
Nagy. Is it Nagy? See, now if that was my name, I'd go by Nagy.
Yeah, because you don't want Nag.
Yeah, I don't want to be like, Nagy.
Exactly. He's probably like, he'll wear down on you.
Wasn't there a Cleveland Indians pitcher called Nagy years ago? It was pretty good.
Same one. I think it's same name, isn't it?
Yeah, but he didn't go by Nagy, did he? He went by Nagy, I thought.
Yeah, I think both of them go by Nagy.
They do?
My guess is, yeah.
Well, I would prefer that.
Well, then you call him whatever. This is not Jason Garrett mandating, right, that you call him coach. Did you see that? You guys see this?
No, I did not see that.
All right, we're going to have to pull up the Jason.
Well, he's a coordinator for the Giants, right?
Yeah, he pulled the Dion. A real man, Dion.
Well, and I saw 3 guys have retired from the Giants in the last 4 days.
Well, what is
wow. That means all that running stuff he's trying to do.
Well, that's what everybody's connecting it to, but I don't know that it has to do with that. Looney, the offensive lineman who just became a member of the Giants, he quit. And
Looney?
2 other guys retired this week.
Now, were those guys like going to retire at the end of the year type anything? And they were just like, screw this.
I'm not sure. One of the guys is like 29 years old. He's a backup offensive lineman. He's the guy who retired yesterday. I'll get his name. Barrett probably knows who he is. He was a starter for a couple of years with
Joe Looney.
No, not him. That was earlier this week.
Yeah,
right. There's another one.
Zach Fulton.
That might be him.
Yeah,
might be.
Yeah, he's only been in the league 7 years.
Right.
Wow.
Okay. Yeah.
I hate to do it to him.
Yeah, I mean, look, not a good sign right now up there in New York. I will get this Jason Garrett stuff here in the break so you guys can see this. I'm surprised you missed this. This is pretty interesting, pretty funny because it's Garrett. We're back in 3. All right, here we go. I'm going to pull this up here. This guy just, I mean, he knows, like, he's not an idiot when it comes to, he's not a good head coach, but that doesn't mean he can't be a smart coordinator.
He is a smart guy. I mean, he went to Princeton.
He just does not elicit any type of command.
Yeah.
You know, like he's just not a guy that you would want to follow. At least not me. Like,
no, I agree with you.
Here he is.
Good to see you guys. Good to see you guys. Yeah, see you first. we say good to see you, coach. That's how we do it. Jason,
See that?
Good to see you guys.
So what, a reporter referred to him as Jason instead
Yeah.
of coach, and he
Yeah.
oh boy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, Rinaldi interviewed Tomlin last night.
Oh, Tom Rinaldi.
Tom Rinaldi interviewed Mike Tomlin before the game last night and called him Mike. So that's what I would do.
Yeah. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. And look, if you're going to call, if Mike Tomlin allows you to call him Mike,
right,
then Jason Garrett is in no standing to demand that anybody call him coach over
Mike
his
Tomlin's
name.
been the Steelers head coach for 15 years, and he's won every year. He's got a Super Bowl, and you call him Mike, and he's cool with it.
Absolutely.
I
It's
love
like,
that
oh,
guy.
Yeah.
I do.
He's great. And if he doesn't punch you in the face for calling him Mike, then Jason Garrett can take a seat.
He might look like he wanted to punch Rinaldi in the face, but he was very cordial to him.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. And did you see the beard on McCarthy? Has he always had that beard with Dallas?
I can't remember.
No.
No? Is that new?
He grew something when he was with the Packers for a little while, didn't he?
It just looks bad, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's pretty nasty. Yeah.
I'm out on him. No?
Nah,
I can't stand the look of Mike McCarthy.
But that backup quarterback situation for Dallas isn't any good either. Wow.
Yep. Yep.
Gilbert.
I'll tell you what. They made yeah, that's new. That beard is new. But yeah, you look at Dallas's offense. I mean, I thought their offense should have been a lot more open with the weapons that they have, even the second team guys. You usually try to, go get guys, kind of the same that you have there already, and they couldn't do anything against that Pittsburgh defense.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing. And that Pittsburgh defense, I thought was it was kind of average. None of the real stars were playing.
Right.
So I thought they were average at best.
Well, I was going to watch the first quarter, and then when Joe Buck announced that Peyton Manning was coming in the booth to start the second quarter, I'm like, I'm staying in for this.
Is it worth it?
Peyton Manning gets me to a television set.
Smart guy. Yeah, he'll give you something you wouldn't necessarily see.
Yeah.
On the Sports Map Radio Network.
Presented by Rocket Mortgage.
Live from the O'Reilly Auto Parts Studios. Here's Eytan Shander, Barrett Brooks, and Harry Mays.
All right, I guess NFL season is underway after last night. We had the day off of practice today, so we can't overreact to anything crazy going on here by any means.
Well, you started the show, talking about the NFL and if you'd pay for individual games, like you brought up the Super Bowl. It's interesting because last night I told you they had Peyton Manning in the booth because he's one of the enshrinees for the Hall of Fame this year, and he came up and started the second quarter with Aikman and Buck, and he's doing something this year on Monday night telecast with his brother Eli, where they're going to do like an alternate broadcast. And I'm assuming it's going to be on the streaming for ESPN Plus, and you'd have to pay for it.
Right.
Right. Now, would you pay for that, Eytan?
So what was it specific? Like, what am I actually paying for?
Well, for this, ESPN Plus is like they're behind their paywall for most of the articles. Most of the good stuff that you'd want to read is behind the paywall. And I would imagine it's all intertwined with that. But what they're going to do is they're going to have like an alternate broadcast where Peyton's going to be at home on his couch,
brother, right?
And Eli's at home on his couch, and they're watching the game and talking about it like they're at a bar.
So I've brought this up for years, which is that I would look again. I use this phrase, I think, with you, where we were kind of hovering around agreement, although there was a fundamental disagreement, which is this is the right track, but the wrong train to get there. Where I don't personally think that either one of them are bad. I don't personally think that either one of them are not funny. I don't personally think that either one of them are just out there vapid, without any type of life or personality to them. I would just rather see other people do it. But I've been wanting this idea for so long because the play-by-play, and as a result, because the play-by-play is always the face or technically voice of the broadcast. Barrett knows this from working up there so many different areas of an ESPN broadcast, but the broadcast is catered to the LCD fan via the play-by-play, where you have to explain stuff, set up the color analyst. If you just had, that's why I think Aqib Talib provides so much of like this refreshing take.
Oh yeah,
he's not even being set up half the time. He's just going off on stuff. So
Now,
I would like to see two players just have a conversation like this, and I'll watch it. I'm not saying I'm anti.
Now Ron Culver says it's actually on ESPN too, so you don't have to pay for it, extra. It's not on the streaming apparently.
Which is genius by ESPN, because now all of a sudden this is a free alternative. And look, the play-by-play is always going to, or pardon me, the play-by-play will never be for us. It will never be for you, for Barrett, for me. It will never be for the stream. It will never be for Ron Culver. That's why you can watch games on mute and not miss anything.
Right.
Because we know what we're doing. A Barrett could probably watch it in his sleep. And still like not miss anything on mute.
Barrett watches a game in a different way than we do.
Right. And that's what you're going to get.
Nobody needs the play-by-play though.
Right.
You're going to get a different. You're going to get a different vantage point. You're going to get it from the perspective of, all right, these guys are looking through their helmet. All right, he might see, Peyton might say, all right, look, and he's going to give you the pre-snap read.
The pre-snap reads.
Exactly. He's going to look at the defense. All right, look at the safety. He's right 3 steps behind the hash. Now, if he was on the hash, I think it was cover 2. But since he's 3 steps over from the hash, that means the probability to be in cover 2 goes down 50%. Now it's going to be cover 3 because I can see that. Oh, look at the linebacker. That linebacker shifted and that safety walked down just a little bit. Now I know it's cover 3. Now is it going to be man or is it going to be zone still? Those are all things. But you got to know if it's zone. Even if he gets a straight 9 route, a go route, it's going to turn into man conceptually because that corner now has to carry him all the way down the field because it turns into man then. Those are little things that they'll be giving you, and you can see it happen before it happens because that's, they're
like
so
it's kind of like what Romo does.
That's exactly what Romo does.
Yeah. So it's more advanced. Yeah.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, I think so much of this has taken away that to where when Romo has done exactly that, it's looked at as such an outlier. But the reality is that, again, so much of the present, because look, you kind of can't fault the NFL for it, where they're so popular right now that they have to factor in that the P1s, the people that aren't going anywhere like us, we're going to watch it no matter what it is. It could be Nickelodeon only, and we're still going to watch it because it's football. But for so many people that are coming in, they have to have the play-by-play, set something up, explaining what your eyes just saw, even though our eyes just saw it. And that's the point where I think this is more to what Barrett's saying. This is more normalizing what Romo is doing, normalizing what Peyton Manning and Eli can do, and hopefully normalizing what, I don't know, Chris, what's his name? Chris Collinsworth or whoever the hell else it may be. Like, let them, because they're going to have to compete, right?
Yep.
Now NBC is going to have to compete. Let's say NBC does a broadcast. Hey, man, I tell you this, and I'm biased. I will tell you 100% I'm biased, but you put Rodney Harrison and Tony Dungy in the same situation that you're putting Eli and Peyton, that's must-watch television.
No question. Because now you get a threefold then. Now you're going to see it from a coach's point of view, and you're going to see it from Rodney's point of view. And then you turn back around, you're going to see a totality of an offensive mind and a defensive mind together. You know what I mean? So it's going to be a different way of thinking, with all 3 facets of it, man. I would love that.
I'm going to probably watch it. I can tell you that.
I'm going to watch it.
We're definitely going to watch it.
Yeah, it's apparently Ron says the deal is for 10 games per season for the next 3 seasons. So they're not doing it every week.
If they're smart, they would do bad games because now, again, Cleveland, Jacksonville, week 10. I don't even know if that's on the schedule, but I'm saying like put that up. Now, this is what, ESPN. So this is Monday Night Football, right?
Monday Night Football, yeah.
All right, so it's 11 of the Monday Night Football. We don't know what
10,
games, though.
10 of them.
Oh, 10
games.
We don't know which ones, though, right?
Not yet, no.
Okay.
But, man, that's a fantastic idea because I would love to see that. Love it.
No, I think you're right. This is the beginning of where we have it now, where we're starting to see hopefully the removal of it. You don't need it, man. You don't need it. Now, look, there needs to be some sort of control here, right? It can't just be people talking about, telling stories and jokes and stuff while this whole thing is going on. I'll get to you, Adam. I saw Penguin AZ mentioned something similar to that. But that's my point in this, is that there has to be some sort of organized presentation to it. But you don't need to be told what you're seeing as far as like guy drops back, guy throws football, guy catches football, guy first down. Like, we don't need to be told that. We need, like Barrett said, what is going on? Like, what just happened? Why did Zach Ertz get open when everybody else was covered? Stuff like that. Why was there a holding? Hopefully they go after the ridiculous officiating as well. Now, you know, it's going to be heavy slanted on the offense with these two former quarterbacks.
Oh, yeah.
Still,
no doubt.
Guys like Barrett are going to be holding left and right and be like, no, hey, you know, Eli, hey, man, I didn't see a hold. That's bad, Eli. I'm sorry.
But you know, but what that gives you is the casual fan will now go to the water cooler at work and sound like he knows what the hell he's talking about because he just heard Eli and Peyton say the
He'll
same
just
thing.
parrot what they said.
Oh, no. Did you see that? Did you see that? Now, once he ran that 9 route, he ran straight up for that 9 route. That corner had to grab on him. So once he locked up on him, it kind of looked like it was man, but it wasn't really man. It was actually zone. But that route dictated on that side of the field that he had to go man. You know, and that's what they would do. You know, I do it all the time.
Now, Barrett, I'm really afraid now. After I just heard you lay that out, I could hear it. Some penguin up in a corner office in ABC.
Not the Penguin AZ.
No, not the Penguin AZ, who will be recording. Now, look, let me just say this. The QVC appearance is between 7 and 11 a.m. The show runs from 7 to 11 a.m. So
you don't know specifically when you're going to be on?
No, but when I do, I will tweet it out. I promise you. So you could just record the 7 to 11 a.m. and I'll explain on Monday, let's say, when I'm on, or you can just follow me on Twitter.
Now, will you be able to replay a couple of snippets from it on the show on Monday on our show?
Yeah, why not? We'll see.
Because my mom's going to watch it now.
Well, that's
she's down in Florida. She went back down to Florida, and she is looking forward to seeing you on Sunday morning.
I got to be honest. This is the most nervous I've been.
Is that right?
Sat in for Dan Schwartzman way back in Atlantic City on my first solo radio show.
Is that right?
Why, right? You know why?
I honestly, Barrett, like, I'm going to throw up.
Let me tell you why. You cannot bring any betting aspect into selling what you're selling.
Right.
You can't put a three-tail parlay, a 3-leg parlay on what you're selling. So
there's no round robins.
Yeah. What could you say now? You just can't make up just random stuff about it. You're always good to throw in a good, all right, well, you know what? This is what I'll do. I'll work this in here. Then I'm gonna raise it, 2.5 points. And you have to sell exactly what.
Yeah.
Right. You have to sell exactly what it is. You have to say exactly what the product does. I mean, those are things. I don't know if you could do that, man.
Now, what are you gonna wear? Have you figured out what you're gonna wear on your debut?
Yeah, I mean, I have to have the element of that. Like, a typical guy at home. But I'm selling to like a 28 to 35-year-old working female, as well as a 55 plus quasi to fully retired woman, not female. Female is an adjective, not a noun. So woman, right? And that, like, those are the target demos for. So basically what I'm doing is I'm selling this.
Wait. You're not going to get that, Bob, man. Hold on.
What do you mean?
Now you can tell you're already into being this guy selling a product. Female is an adjective, not a thing.
You should just wear the blue shirt like Billy Mays used to wear.
No, but I don't know
that guy.
I don't know if the blue, because I have this fake shiplap behind me, so I don't know if the blue is going to go well with the shiplap.
Is the shiplap gray?
Yeah, but it's got hints of blue on there.
Oh,
so I don't know.
Might look good.
I have to wear something like maybe like a Bob Vila shirt.
The Bob Vila shirt. And I don't know what
like
the Bob
a flannel,
Vila shirt.
like maybe I wear like a flannel or something here. I don't know.
Like the guy on Home Improvement.
Yeah, it's probably just going to be a golf shirt, to be honest with you. I don't know.
Huntington Valley logo?
Nah, I don't want to. I'm not. I give them enough. All right? I give them my money. I show up. That's enough. All right.
No, they always want more. Trust me.
Exactly. All right. Before we break, let me just make this point. We'll come back. Yeah, business casual. I think Adam's Exploits brings this up. Yeah. Can you imagine? Like, look, real quick. I'm sorry. Can you imagine this?
Oh, that would be incredible.
The host on this poor host on QVC, Pat. Let's go out to the phones and hear about somebody using these lights. What up, Shanders?
Jose from Norristown's the first caller.
What up, yo?
Yeah.
All right, so here's the thing, real quick, before we break. I just want you to think about this, right? Because Barrett just perfectly broke down what I think he and so many others, including myself and Harry, would love to see in this type of capacity. But as Barrett, and I hear, the 9 route, I just hear all of the specifics that Barrett is so geeked up in paraphrasing for both the Mannings. And I can just picture some penguin suit in the corner office in some Disney/ABC building with a cigar that's not lit, saying out loud to a group of people with just a scribble pad waiting to take down everything he says. And, I don't think anybody's going to get that. and this being just a reduced broadcast because ESPN is afraid of losing people. That's what I'm afraid of. Let's talk about that a little bit because Barrett's on the right track, and I hope he's right. But I just have this corporate cloud that I can't escape coming down, being like, no.
Well, we're jaded, you and me.
Maybe we are. Maybe we are. All right, we're back in 3 across the board. It's the middle.
I get scared sometimes.
Of a lot of things.
Joining in.
Decisions.
The dark.
The dark.
But I once heard someone say,
But as I always say,
it's okay to be afraid.
As long as you face the fear.
And keep moving forward.
Wherever you are in life, count on the name trusted in insurance for over 80 years. Independence Blue Cross.
The savoring taste of a good bag of beef jerky is so enjoyable at any time of the day, as long as you can find it. Here's what we suggest. Pure Bull Beef Jerky is our answer, and soon it will be yours. Locally produced in the Philadelphia region, this high-quality, healthy protein snack is easy to secure. Go to steersnacks.com, and you'll see hot garlic, tropical heat, Pure Bull dry rub, and our favorite, Huck and Fod. What's that? Huck and Fod. Go now to steersnacks.com.
Welcome to the Wildwoods, the perfect place where you can safely do everything or nothing at all. Catch a wave, take a nap, go for a drive, grab a bite. It's your vacation, and we're doing everything we can to make it a safe one. The Wildwoods. Your vacation, your way.
The International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers, Local Union 98, is a proud sponsor of The Labor Show with J. and Krause every Saturday night from 6 till 8 p.m. IBEW Local 98's highly trained and superbly skilled electricians are the best in the business, setting the highest safety standards in the electrical industry. So when you're planning your next industrial, commercial, or residential project, choose an IBEW Local 98 union contractor. Learn more at ibew98.org.
Field of life, First Trust Bank is there for you.
Champions on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Because Philadelphia dreams deserve a Philadelphia bank.
This is a key. It's a family tree. It's a pair of wings. It's a secret handshake. And a ticket to anywhere in the world. It's more than a uniform. It's the door to a world most people only dream of. There's Strong, and then there's Army Strong. Try it on at GoArmy.com.
On the Sports Maps Radio Network.
Presented by Rocket Mortgage.
Live from the O'Reilly Auto Parts Studios. Here's Eytan Shander, Barrett Brooks, and Harry Mays.
All right. Bob Wankel's going to join us coming up. And until then, we've got one more segment here. this short segment. Andrew Wiggins has signed, or Andre Iguodala has signed.
Now, Teddy is making an appearance here. Will Teddy make his QVC appearance this weekend?
No.
Can you imagine how many lights you'd sell if Teddy was in your arms?
I'm gonna save him for when I really need to sell something.
Oh,
like these lights are gonna sell themselves, man.
Is that right? Now, do you have them? Do you have them in your house?
Yeah, I've got them all. I've got like 5 of them all over the place. Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. They work.
So they're portable like that. You don't have to install them.
No, these are AAA batteries. You want the whole spiel here in 60 seconds or less?
What do you think, Barrett? Yes.
Okay. They're AAA batteries. So simple to use. Motion censored up to 30 feet, 300 lumens, which is the equivalent of 300 candles of power, right?
Lumens.
So 10 feet out or 30 feet out, pardon me, and you're going to get 10 feet of light that you'll see. They have a magnet here at the bottom, so you can put this anywhere. Anything, think of a fuse box, think of the hood of a car, anywhere that you need light.
Barrett could use these in his garage when he's working on his car.
I'm telling you. And here's the beauty of it, right? It has this lighting. The lumens itself are made up of cob lighting, which is this new version of light that is super compact, small lights that are super compact that when put together are extra bright. And that's why they can go on a AAA battery and last longer. Remember the old flashlights, the mag lights that had those huge D battery? That's because the lighting was inferior to what it is now. So this is compact. Look, it's the size of my hand. You can put them anywhere. Think of this. You've got kids and they're old enough now to get up in the middle of the night and walk to the bathroom. Perfect. You have this on. It goes
like a nightlight.
30 seconds, Harry, to where if you're not moving, then it will shut off. If you're moving, it'll stay on so long as it's there. Think of how much Barrett has yelled at his kids in the past. I told you to turn off that damn light. You don't have to worry about that.
Bro, it's ridiculous, man, because my phone, my light bill is sometimes, $1,000. You know what I'm saying? My kids just walk around the house just leaving lights on. I'm like, come on now. Now that they're all gone, life is good.
This is it. This is it. All right, just showing you. That's it.
Bro,
Sunday
put it like
morning,
this.
we'll tell you.
Put it in perspective. My insurance bill for my car insurance went from being $1,500 when I had my daughter and my son on it to now being $480.
Is that
for
right?
4 cars? Yes.
Wow.
For 4 cars. Can you believe that?
Jeez.
I was paying $1,500. That's a damn mortgage a month for the past 10 years. That's why I say if the insurance company better not ever say anything wrong. If I file a claim, they better give it to me because I've paid out the yin yang for a car insurance.
That alone, yeah.
But I need that light because I need that light last night. I was working on my cousin's car.
See, Barrett should call in on Sunday. Should be your first sale. You should have it all set up.
Telling you.
Let's go to the phones.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Want that? We should shoot a video. They run B-roll a lot on these. Like I have to talk over this B-roll. That's what I have to do,
Yeah. Right.
So I have to do this B-roll and I have to talk over it. And we just get Barrett using it. We're like, all right, well, this is former NFL lineman, Super Bowl champion Barrett Brooks, and look, he's
right, like a video of him like welding by the light of one of these.
Now, if his big ass hands can get around this, then surely yours can as well.
Exactly.
Hell of a selling point right there, right?
Right. Should put one in Teddy's hands because can Teddy hold it? Is it possible?
No, he can't hold it. He can hold his bottle though.
Okay.
I actually had a pic of him I put up on Twitter of him in this Public Enemy pose.
Oh, is that right? No, I didn't see that.
Yeah.
How did I miss that?
I mean, come on, man. I got to pull this up now here for you.
Yeah, you got to. Well, the people want to see it.
Okay, that's fine. Well, the people get to see him too, so it's not like they're deprived by any means here.
Did you happen to get a listen to any of that Kanye stuff? Is it any good?
I did not. No, I did. Meaning, I did not listen. Not that I don't know if it's any good. I assume there's a lot going on with him. That's good. I assume that from like a productivity standpoint, it's definitely going to be worth. Production standpoint, pardon me, it's definitely going to be worth a listen. But no, short answer is I did not get a chance to listen to it. Are you going to?
I would like to hear, like
You
one
need
or
a
two of
review
it
first.
Yeah, there's Teddy. I'm looking at it right now. My son is listening to way too much at Pharaoh Monch.
Yeah.
Now, did he respond?
Oh, yeah. Pharaoh quoted it.
Oh, yeah.
Yo, bro. So that was just a call that I was waiting for. I had to get it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do Big 12 games and AAC games.
American Conference.
Yeah. So first thing he
Nice.
says is, yeah, you're right there at Temple. Got a bunch of those for you.
Okay.
So I'll be doing a couple Temple games for you, bro.
That.
Now, is this TV?
Yes.
And you're going to be an analyst, or you're going to be in the truck?
No, I'll be an analyst.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, color analyst. Yep.
Nice. Now,
So
who's
can't
your
wait for that.
play-by-play guy?
Well, we got to work that out still, but he was just making sure that I'll be able to make my schedule and do it.
Mm-hmm. Well,
So.
congratulations.
Yes, sir. Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
that's good.
Appreciate
You won't have to travel every week if you're just doing some games from the link.
it. Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah.
I can go into my own office.
Right. Nice.
But that'd be
That's
great.
amazing.
All right. So, and you know what that means now.
Congrats, brother.
What's that?
That means more guests.
Oh,
Like
there
you're
we
going to
go.
be talking to,
Or him being out.
well, yeah, true. More of you being gone.
Right.
No, not really.
Well, if you travel, you're going to go the day before, right?
Yeah.
So you'd probably
That's on
miss the
Friday.
show on Fridays.
Uh-oh.
No, I can't miss Fridays. I might leave Thursday night and do Friday morning. So I'll leave Thursday night.
Okay. The program director used to hate when I did those Temple games, and I'd
Yeah.
have to leave and skip the Friday show.
I mean,
Oh, he hated that.
built some continuity here.
I mean, I'm paying you.
Yeah, fair point.
That's a fair point, Mike.
James Washington, former 2018 second-round pick, has approached the Steelers and requested a trade based on his limited play time last season and what was last night. Bob Wankel's going to join us, not to talk about that, but to convince
And he dropped
Harry.
the pass.
He did.
Yeah, come
Bob's
on.
going to convince Harry to watch baseball this weekend. Coming up next.
Now, how you gonna say you want to trade and you dropping a pass? Crucial pass.
Hey, Bob.
There he is.
What's up, guys? How we doing?
Bob, how's it going, bro?
Doing
What's up,
good.
man? How are you?
I can't complain, man. Can't complain at all.
Good.
Doing good. I've yet to watch a Phillies game.
Yeah, you're gonna watch some baseball this weekend.
You want to know how bad? Honestly, Bob, I wish I had this clip from earlier in the show, but this is how bad of a situation it is on this program where Barrett brought up the MVP talk about Bryce Harper. So I said, look, to be fair, the two guys that are above him in league leading OPS, one has been hurt, and Tatis, I mentioned, just got hurt. So I'm struggling, tip of the tongue, to find Acuna in my brain and then speak it out. Neither one of these guys even know who. I don't know if they know who Acuna is or that he got hurt in the first. The stream is letting me drown. Finally, when I mentioned about Acuna getting hurt, Harry didn't even realize he got hurt.
Yeah.
You can't. You gotta you trip over Acuna on Sports Center. You got to go out of your way.
I don't watch Sports Center.
Yeah.
I haven't watched Sports Center in probably
Harry's
10
inside
years.
all the time.
Yeah.
You haven't really missed much. I mean,
Exactly.
when you jump in, you haven't missed much of Sports Center, and you really haven't missed much of baseball. You can pretty much just jump in right now.
That's what I'm saying. I think I'm the smart guy here. Like, you do this for a living. You cover baseball. It's your thing. But me, as a casual guy who prefers football and basketball and golf to baseball, if they get good, like they're getting good right now, they might be legit. Who knows? They got to beat the Mets. Beating the Nationals doesn't show me anything. Beating the Cubs back in July didn't do squat for me. But if they start to become relevant, I can always just jump in here in the middle of August and take it through the playoffs like a fraud fan that I am.
Yeah, you log on to Twitter and you got the gist. They can't play defense. Starting pitching's pretty suspect. Bullpen blows a lot of games, but they got some interesting pieces and they can make it weird here. And, you're all caught up.
They don't run the bases well either.
No, they don't run the bases.
Well, looking at that whole situation, man, I thought that they were going to come in this season, be heavy with the bats, they'll be able to score them way out of their pitching, but that hasn't happened either. So
No, it hasn't. I mean, they were, I guess, 5th in baseball last year in runs scored per game, and you kind of just thought they'd out-hit their mistakes, and they, for the most part, haven't done that. Now, they've taken advantage of some really bad pitching over the last month or so, but, fortunately for them, they continue to see bad pitching pretty much the rest of the way. They got a few with the Padres and Dodgers, I think, but, honestly, they can take advantage of the schedule. It's soft.
I hate it, man. I hate it, man.
Well, what did you think that they did at the deadline? Did they do the right thing, and should they have been a buyer? And what did you think of the pieces they got?
Yeah, I mean, in light of the last week, right? I mean, it looks like they did the right thing. Selling probably wasn't the right play, but I would have liked to have seen them go out and do one more arm. That's what I wonder, if they just didn't do enough. Not that they didn't go out and get the high-level guys, but I think they're still a starting pitcher short or a bullpen arm short.
On the Sports Map Radio Network.
Presented by Rocket Mortgage.
Live from the O'Reilly Auto Parts Studios. Here's Eytan Shander, Barrett Brooks, and Harry Mays.
All right, so we're back, and now joining us is Bob Wankel from Crossing Broad. Baseball, of course, but we get to talk a lot of things, pretty much all things betting with Bob as well, because he has his eye on value wherever it may be. Bob, we appreciate you first and foremost for popping on, man.
Yeah, thanks for having me. We got the Phillies here relevant for the first time in about 9 years, so it's a good time to be on.
9 years.
Well, it usually goes like that, right? 10-year increments, they get good at the 10th year, so they're right where they're supposed to be at, man. But I don't know. I mean, is their bullpen good enough to ride this out? Stay close in the race. In the division.
Yeah, listen, we were talking during the break, right? And the issue that I still see with the Phillies is that they bring in Ian Kennedy to close. They bring in Kyle Gibson in the rotation. But in bringing in Kennedy, they sub out Ranger Suarez and have to stick him into the rotation because of the issues that they've had on the back end there. And so has the bullpen gotten any better since the trade deadline? Probably not. It's still very thin. And I like what the Phillies did at the deadline, but to answer your question, no, I don't really trust the bullpen, and I think they would have been better served going out and getting one more arm to kind of give Joe Girardi a little bit of flexibility late in games, Ranger Suarez in Ian Kennedy. But, as it is, I still have big questions about what they're going to do here moving forward.
Give me your take on Girardi as a manager with the Phillies, because
I was going the same
direction. Knowingly, I haven't been watching the games, but from what I read, from what I see people say on Twitter, he has been underwhelming at best.
Yeah, I think that's fair. When Gabe Kapler left, the idea was that they brought in a difference maker, somebody that was established, had a track record, won a World Series. But I mean, listen, it hasn't been very good for the most part up until this last week. There are numerous moves that he makes in real time. It's not revisionist history where I kind of sit there and say, what are we doing? I mean, you can point to as recently as Sunday against Pittsburgh. He brings Ian Kennedy into a game, his brand new closer, up 10+ runs. Guy throws 25 pitches. Then he comes back and he doesn't have him later against Washington when he could use him in a closing situation. And it's just things like that that he kind of consistently does that are head scratchers. I think he's been okay. I would give him a C+, B- maybe, but he hasn't been the difference maker by any stretch.
All right, so I'm not going to go full sports talk radio on you here, but I'm going to go quasi sports talk radio on you here. I won't even give a number out. This is more like a Twitter poll, although in recent light of some Twitter polls that
have you guys discussed who you'd rather see in Philadelphia this fall? Deshaun Watson or
Deshaun Watson? No. Although the latest in response to Coggin was hilarious about a running back. But no. Point being is look, I know that change somewhat needed to happen, but it's hard to ignore what Gabe Kapler's doing. Did they make the right decision with the benefit of hindsight, Bob?
Yeah, I know that Harry probably, I feel like Harry especially is going to think I'm an idiot for saying this, but I was always kind of, pro Gabe Kapler, I guess, or as pro Gabe Kapler as it could get. And really, look, the way I look at it with Gabe Kapler is that this team was tremendously flawed, had starting pitching issues. They didn't really have that killer instinct. And I think that Gabe Kapler was blamed for a lot of things somewhat unfairly. That being said, he's done a really nice job with the Giants. I think he's learned from a lot of his mistakes here in Philadelphia. So it's kind of like the old two things can be true. I think the Phillies needed a fresh voice. It was probably time to move on from him.
Okay.
But at the same time, he's shown you that he is a very capable major league manager and probably got a little bit of a bad deal here.
All right, real quick, let me follow that up and really put your feet to the fire here now. This is full sports talk radio. Who would you rather have back? Would it be Gabe Kapler or Doug Peterson?
Oh, wow. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, I would say probably Doug. You know, I mean, listen, I love the Eagles. Like, whereas now with the Phillies, I kind of do the big time journalist thing. I don't have a real hard rooting interest. I'm still a psycho when it comes to the Eagles, and it's just hard for me to wrap my mind around the fact that, you know, 3 years after winning a Super Bowl, this guy's gone. But, you know, hey, let's see what happens, man. Nick Sirianni with his rock, paper, scissors and talking about Kobayashi yesterday at the press conference and stuff. Quirky guy. I'm willing to give him a shot, but maybe this is a situation where a change of scenery was necessary for all parties.
No, at this point, you know, looking at these lineups, man, you got Reese Hoskins, all those guys, Gene Segura. Can they win at this point with that lineup? You know, are they in a position where can we honestly be fans and just enjoy the fact of where they are right now? Or are they going to go back to the, you know, old status quo, not playing defense anymore, you know, and be that team that we saw 3 weeks ago?
You know, I still expect Chase Anderson to give you problems every time he takes the ball. I still expect issues with the bullpen. But when it comes to this lineup, I mean, right now, for the first time really ever, or at least it feels this way, Reese Hoskins, Bryce Harper, JT Realmuto are all kind of swinging the bats together at the same time. And when you look at what a guy like Gene Segura has done on top of it, Alec Boehm's been a little bit better over the last month. I think there's reason to believe that this lineup can kind of out-hit some of the pitching and defensive deficiencies that this team has. And really, honestly, I've had the benefit, I guess, of watching the Mets play a lot, watching the Braves play a lot. And I think that that's the biggest thing. For as flawed as the Phillies are, you make no mistake about it, the Mets and their deficiencies are not being exaggerated. They don't hit. They kind of have a little bit of a loser energy about them. Atlanta's made a slew of deadline deals here to kind of get themselves kickstarted. They're over 500 for the first time this season after winning last night. But again, a team that still has a shaky bullpen, still dealing with huge injury issues. And so the Phillies are very much in this, you know, and maybe they don't deserve to be, but here they are.
All right. So, sorry. I think
I'm just saying that I'm like, oh, I mean, that sounds like the Eagles in a bad division. And they can win the division, but does that make them a good team? No. I mean, so you're kind of saying the same thing with, you know, the Phillies. You know, they're an average team in a bad division.
You know, the biggest issue that I've had with the Phillies for multiple years, especially this season, is that they really haven't played as well collectively as some of their individual parts suggest that they should. You know, I've said for multiple years now that this team has lacked the killer instinct. They lack that ability to go out and really stomp on an opponent's throat when the situation warrants it. And what I guess I've been impressed with them in recent weeks and recent days especially is that they've shown a little killer instinct. You know, Aaron Nola goes out there and sinks them yesterday. Mm-hmm. They could have just packed it in and said, yo, we got the Mets for 3 at home. We'll get them tomorrow. But to fight back against a really bad team with a really bad bullpen, you know what? I mean, you got to give them credit. They've lost plenty of games that they should win over the last 2 or 3 years. So
this feels like Dwayne Haskins giving him credit for what he did last night. Jeez,
against third and fourth stringers. No, but Bob, you brought up Aaron Nola. What is wrong with Aaron Nola? Why? I mean, he is not the Aaron Nola that we've.
You say what is wrong with him?
Not even joking. That's the best part about it.
Right. Yeah, I'm not. What's wrong with him?
I mean, listen, I think it's very simple. I just don't think he trusts his fastball. You know, I think that it all comes back to fastball trust and fastball command. He does not have it. You know, I think that's really weakened the effectiveness of some of his secondary pitches, especially his curveball. And, you know, if you don't have conviction in you know, your best pitches, you're going to struggle. And I just really think that he's trying to find himself. I think he's trying to regain trust in himself. And when you look at a guy like Aaron Nola, who presumably has had incredible success at the high school level, he was fantastic at LSU. He came up to Philadelphia and was really fantastic over the first handful of years here. I know he stumbled down the stretch at times, but overall, I mean, you're talking about one of the 10, 15 best pitchers in the National League. And this year, he just cannot stabilize any success. And I think he's really just fighting himself from a mental standpoint.
Well, let me ask you this, Bob. Going into the trade deadline, did you think we should have been buyers for center field, or should we just go in with Duba Herrera, whoever else goes in there and plays?
Well, knowing what I know now with Andrew McCutchen on the injured list, definitely. But I mean, listen, the problem that the Phillies ran into is that the need for pitching was so great, and both in the bullpen and in the starting rotation, I felt like the Phillies were going to do exactly what they did, which is kind of, do a little bit, not go all in, but not totally punt at the trade deadline. And when you consider the dearth of prospects that they have, I just didn't know how many different moves you could really make. And going out and trading for a center fielder really makes no sense if you don't shore up the pitching first. And they had a little trouble getting that together. I mean, they waited until the very end of the trade deadline. And I just don't think that this was a front office that was comfortable going into the extent that they were going to make 3 or 4 separate moves. In a perfect world, yeah, they need a center field upgrade. And I think it's going to be one of their top priorities this offseason. But I guess they feel like the combination of Travis Jankowski, Odubel Herrera, and then Andrew McCutchen coming back and playing left field will be enough. We'll see.
All right,
he's from Lancaster, PA. You know that?
Jankowski?
Yeah.
Well, it looks like it.
He's got great hair, man.
Let's look at this. I think I saw him Biglerville, by the way, when I was stopping to get gas back in Gettysburg.
Mullet City, huh?
Here's the thing. This is all predicated on how much you like the Phillies, I think tonight, but mostly through the series this weekend, because if the Phillies sweep or if the Phillies get 2 of 3, this number is not going to be where it is right now. So if you like the Phillies to win at least 2 of 3, I imagine that you're going to tell me to pound this 1,800 value of Bryce Harper for the MVP, because it's probably going to drop, maybe not significantly, but at least a little bit, if the Phillies win this series and stand above first place come the start of next week.
Yeah, I think this morning I saw Bryce Harper plus 1,800.
That's what I have now.
And if you look at Fernando Tatis Jr., I saw minus 125. I mean, he's out. And you just wonder, even when he comes back, is some of the power going to be sapped a little bit? And so there's a little bit of value in there. You look at Trey Turner, who's having a really good season. Now he's with the Dodgers. They're going to play a lot of high-profile games down the stretch, nationally televised, going up against the Giants, the Padres. So he's in the mix as well. But listen, Bryce Harper, I think we've somehow, for as provincial as we are here, I think we've somehow kind of overlooked the season that Bryce Harper's having.
Yeah.
Especially when you look at the run batted in production. I think he only has like 41 RBI right now.
Yeah,
that's the issue. But when you look at OPS, you look at some of the advanced metrics. I mean, hell, just even batting average. This guy has been a top 5 player by several different metrics across the board this season. I mean, I really do think we've sort of slept on him a little bit. And what he's done over the last month, if the Phillies make the postseason, it's largely going to be because guys like Bryce Harper dragged them there. And if that's the case, there's some value at plus 1,800.
But it's going to be hard for him, to be really stay in this MVP talks if he doesn't have any more ribbies, man. He needs at least 80 to even, qualify, really, don't you think?
I don't know. It's like weird. 5-10 years ago, I would have said he'd have no shot. But the way that these awards are kind of assessed now, writers and the voters are kind of like trending more toward these advanced metrics. They're more interested in like weighted on base average and OPS than they are in the traditional counting stats. So I'm not telling you, like, if I had to go make a bet, I'd probably still just take Tatis just because he's so electric. But I honestly do think, considering the numbers and considering the position the Phillies are in, that at plus 1,800, I mean, you just talk about what Eytan said, pure value standpoint, why not?
I see more eyes, a lot of eyes on him right now.
See, that's a guy who gets paid by his site and Crossing Broad to talk about betting. And he just said, do you see what Eytan had to say about value? So you two clubs, maybe I do know what I'm talking about.
Kissing up to Eytan here.
Yeah, I never said that he didn't. So he likes to make these straw men, constantly to pump himself up.
Hold on, we got a break on the network before you get to that, Harry. We'll be back in 3 on SportsMap. Go ahead.
What did you think of the ridiculous op-ed in the Inquirer that suggested that the Phillies changed their name to the Philadelphia John?
Listen, Crossing Broad is like the overseer of Philadelphia sports media and all. I actually have an Inquirer subscription. I really like both Scott Lauber and Matt Breen. Like, they're my guys. Didn't love that article. That was kind of one where you said to yourself, like, is this
really?
Wait, what was the actual article? I missed this.
It was an opinion piece that suggested they changed their name to the John.
The Phillies?
Yes.
Yeah. But was this serious though, or was this like?
I actually thought that it was written with like some satirical overtones, and it wasn't. So yeah, it was serious, and it wasn't very good.
The Philadelphia Timberlands, because everybody wears Timbs around here. You know, the Johns. Come on now, that's the cheesesteaks. That's what she just called the cheese.
Yeah,
steak.
I mean,
it's played out and commercialized now as the cheesesteak is. Let's be honest, right?
But the Cleveland Guardians is an awful name.
Oh,
terrible. They may not be able to use it, Harry. They still paid off that roller derby team allegedly.
Good.
Now, here's what we need to figure out, okay? Because the LA Angels tonight are without Ohtani, they're without Rendon. We know Trout's out, everybody's out, right, Bob? So you can get the Dodgers money line is insane, as you would expect. It's going to be north of 200, minus 222, minus 1.5 is now even money. I pushed it to minus 2.5 on a solo bet. But what I'm interested in is to see where you stand tonight with this Phillies game, because I think there is value in running the Dodgers money line and taking the Phillies +1, knowing that they have that bottom half of the ninth to work with, and they're getting that run. The total is at 9.5, so it's right around 10, which is that number I look to apply this. So my Ask Bob Wenkel parlay of the night would be to take the Dodgers money line and mix that with the Phillies.
Bob, I'm sorry.
On the run line. This is what Bob does for Crossing Broad. What are you talking about?
These are things that I do look at. I mean, listen, the Angels, playing against the Angels makes a lot of sense. You don't want to lay that type of number on the Dodgers. I will just keep this short and simple. I have concerns about the Phillies, and the two concerns that I have is, I actually have 3 concerns about the Phillies tonight. And I'm not telling you that they won't win or that you shouldn't.
Oh, I can lay the one with New York if you like.
I mean, one, they've struggled with Marcus Stroman. All right. Number 2, the Phillies, I expect, I mean, after seeing about 20,000 people on a nightly basis at Citizens Bank Park, are probably finally going to see 30,000 plus people tonight. Is this team ready to finally kind of own the moment and play in front of a juiced up crowd? And you would think conventional wisdom would say, yes, that will be a huge advantage for them. But I'm not so sure that that's the case. And 3, I just don't know how much I trust Kyle Gibson against the Mets team that left 15 runners on base yesterday against the Marlins. It just feels like they're kind of due to bounce back a little bit. So I have reservations about the Phillies tonight.
Can I add one more element as we just are returned here to the network?
You are listening to The Middle on the
It's a metric that I think we should still take into account here.
Live from the O'Reilly Auto Parts Studios. Here's Eytan Shander, Barrett Brooks, and Harry Mays.
And Bob Wenkel, of course, with us as well. I don't want to put words in your mouth, Bob, but it sounds like if you were going to bet this game, you'd either go with the Mets money line or run line.
I would not bet this game, period. But because we're here and it's a big game and people are probably interested, I actually have not looked at this particular market, but on certain sports books, you can grab the starting pitcher to win. And in this case, to be honest with you, if you like the Phillies tonight, you might as well just take Kyle Gibson to be the pitcher of record. Like, I don't trust the Phillies bullpen to get into a late inning, eke it out type of game with the Mets. Like, if they're going to win tonight, like, I'm a big believer in context and momentum. Like, I just think they come out guns blazing, riding all the momentum from this big win yesterday. They jump out early and they ride it to the finish line. So I think the Phillies right now are like minus 115 on the money line. My guess is you could get Kyle Gibson as the pitcher of record somewhere in like the plus 140 to plus 50 range. Like, that would be a better way to maximize the payout on the Phillies.
All right, so real quick, just to add this metric into this conversation, correct me if I'm wrong, but Gibson was one of, if not the league leader in ground balls, correct? Coming into, and the Philadelphia, Barrett brought this point up, and I kind of wanted to bring it back, which is the defense has looked good as of late, but we are kind of waiting for it to rear its ugly head again. That's probably the worst possible scenario if, in fact, the defense decided to show up again like, hi, guys, tonight, right?
It's one of the red flags about, Kyle Gibson coming here in general is he is ground ball dependent, which is great in theory, especially in a stadium like Citizens
Bank Park. Yeah.
But, he had plus defense in Texas, as bad as the Rangers are, and he's moving to a team right now that has on money, the worst defense in baseball. And it has been a little bit better lately, but even yesterday, you saw Ronald Torreyes, who's been about as sure-handed as it gets, drop a pop-up, and Didi Gregorius made an inexcusable error in the 9th inning yesterday. This is still a very bad defense, and it may not kill him tonight, But moving forward over the course of 10 starts, yeah, the Phillies' ground ball defense paired with Kyle Gibson and what he does well isn't a great fit.
Do you have a couple of minutes to hang with us, Bob, or you got to jet? No, wait. You have to go. We should have let you go a while ago. I'm sorry, man.
I got about 5 if you want to do it. But
are you sure? I thought you had to go already. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm good. I got about 5 minutes.
Okay. Well, we're back. Have a great weekend to everybody on the network. Thank you, Ron Culver.
Thanks, Ron.
Brother. And then from there, we'll see you Monday and more football to talk about. Absolutely. All right, go ahead. I know I kind of threw a couple out there in that last minute. So, Harry.
Well, Bob, I promise you that if the Phillies win one of the next 2 games against the Mets, I will watch Wheeler pitch on Sunday.
They'll have your attention.
Yes. But they got to win 1 or 2.
It was a big week for the Phillies for a lot of reasons. Obviously, they go from 4.5 out to a half game out. But here you are. You have a rival. You have the Mets coming in. You have alumni weekend. You're retiring Roy Halladay's jersey on Sunday in a pregame ceremony. That place is going to naturally have more people in it just because, A, it's the Mets, B, the alumni weekend, and now you throw this battle for first place into the mix. And, I don't want to overstate it. Like, I didn't cover the game last night. I tweeted this out about an hour ago. I did not cover the game last night. I was out to dinner with my wife. We were in an Italian restaurant, and there was a bar there. And we weren't at Chickies and Pete's, you know what I mean? And I'm telling you, when JT Realmuto doubled, the bar went nuts. When Reese singled, people went crazy. And I have not seen anything like that in this town in years. And so, I know I'm a writer. I get paid to kind of create a narrative and all that nonsense. But I got to tell you what, man, you could make an argument. This is the biggest series the Phillies have had in 9 years.
Wow.
Really good.
Yeah, I don't think that's hyperbole.
So is it because of Girardi? It's how big of an effect Girardi is having at this point right now? For their success.
I look at Joe, and I think that there is going to be something said for having a guy that's battle tested, that's been through it. I don't know that it really mattered last season when there was nobody in the stands and there wasn't a lot of pressure and you weren't very good. But as the expectations rise for this team, maybe Joe Girardi kind of being in a pressure cooker like New York City for, nearly a decade, maybe some of that experience comes into play as the stakes, raise up a little bit. But, like we talked about it before, I don't know from a tactical standpoint if Joe Girardi's necessarily giving you an advantage inning to inning, game to game. But I am curious to see here now that they kind of get themselves into this, and I'll put it in air quotes, a pennant race in a weak NL East. I am curious to see if some of that experience does come into play now.
It's going to be crazy, man, to see this thing play out. And I wonder, is there anything left on the board outside of baseball in the final couple of minutes you have? Do you have a play on the Olympic game tonight? I would suggest that you wait.
What, basketball?
Yeah, the USA is laying 12.5, 13 right now. It's a big number. Yeah. Wait. France is going to come out. You could probably get the USA after a quarter or maybe a half down to 4 or 5 points. So that would be my suggestion.
This is what's going to happen. I don't mean to interrupt the basketball, but this is what's going to happen. The Phillies will win both games Friday, Saturday with an opportunity to sweep the Mets, and the Eagles will trade for Deshaun Watson on Sunday afternoon.
Or the Sixers, Harry.
Well, yeah, either that. But it's typically the Eagles try to take everybody's thunder.
Do you believe that they try to control the back page? Or you of that?
Oh yeah,
they did.
Oh yeah.
They did for a while. They definitely.
You know what? I kind of like the idea of the U.S. coming out to a sleepy start and see if you can grab a little extra value there to grab a shorter line. By the way, you're talking about just anything else on the board. I'd stay in the NL East. I mean, you just if you watched this week, you see the Nationals aren't a very good team. I mean, they are a quasi AAA team at this point. They're throwing Eric Fetty tonight, I believe, who absolutely stinks in Atlanta against a Braves team that's playing with an equal amount of momentum as the Phillies are right now. And I would probably say you could ride that Atlanta train a little bit more. And so, again, they're expensive. I want to say they're minus 190, somewhere in that neighborhood. Mm-hmm. You could probably pair that up with, like you were suggesting earlier, maybe something with the Dodgers to kind of knock down that price tag a little bit.
All right, Bob, here's your moneymaker on the way out, right? We'll take the Dodgers money line. We'll take the White Sox money line today, as Chicago's lost 6 straight when facing a team with a winning record during the daytime. And we'll take your last play right there. match them up. I'm actually going to take the Braves -1.5 against that bad Nationals team. That's going to get me plus 357 on the return.
Wow.
And there you have it.
There you go. Paying bills.
There you have it. Thanks, brother.
Thanks, Bob.
Appreciate you, bro.
Talk to you soon.
You got it. All right, now I feel terrible because Bob told me he had a hard out at 55.
Wow.
Yeah.
See, I mean, it's Teddy. Teddy keeps you. I mean, he keeps you in.
Yeah, I've
gotta get you in.
Except the child. At this
Gotta get you in.
Should we put the phone on?
So now, what did you have? You have the Dodgers. You have the Mets. Or no, you've got the Dodgers, the Braves, and who?
Braves run line, White Sox money line.
White Sox.
That starts at 220. That's a lone day game. And remember, Chicago took that L the other night, and then LA. I just think LA. If you can get the LA money line worked with any other parlay that works with you, even if it's a 2-leg one, I would take LA on the money line. They may sweat it out. It may be coming from behind. Whatever the weird scenarios are that play out in sports, but I'm pretty confident they're going to win that. I mean, we don't have much else outside the Phillies and golf.
No,
this weekend.
No, the golf's underway now. The second round. Anything happening? Harris English just lit it up yesterday.
Yeah, I sent you. We had E-Bomb sent us his lineup, and I sent you the one that I was hoping.
He tweets a lot, man. That guy is all over the place.
Yeah,
on my timeline, he's constantly tweeting.
Absolutely.
Nobody's more of a tweeter than JC though, John Clark.
Oh, really?
Yeah, man.
But he's got good stuff, though.
Yeah,
right.
He gets in a lot of doors.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah, they're putting him in the same light as D Gun.
He gets some big guests on that podcast, man.
Yeah.
Now you are still 14th, and I'm 13th right now. But I've got
is that right?
Yeah, I've got 290 holes remaining. You got 278. Both of our guys need to get this thing going. This is the problem, though, is that like a lot of the guys that I had low scores, but didn't really put up fantasy numbers. If that makes sense.
DJ's coming. He's 4 under today. Poulter is really doing well for me. But I saw you took Matthew Wolf. I can't stand that guy.
Hey,
I
man,
will look to avoid him at all costs. I hate him.
He was super underowned, and he was a punt that paid out. All right, so anybody here that's doing anything crazy so far? Louis 2 under.
Wolf's 1 over.
Yeah, that's screwing me so far. All right, Cam Smith is 4 under through 5. There you go.
I like him.
Yep, and I have him too, so I need him to bounce.
Love
out.
that guy. You got Reed too, don't you?
Reed, yeah,
he's 1 under, I think, today.
Yeah, 2 under yesterday. But see, this was the lineup that I used specifically for our tournament. I have a couple of other ones that I use. Like I should have used a cash lineup, and I just used a tournament lineup. But
Webb Simpson 3 under today.
Well, he killed you first day, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. He did. He was like 1 over.
All right. Well,
yeah.
What else? There's nothing really else outside of that, huh? No football.
Well, they got the open practice tomorrow, right, Barrett? Are you going down there for that?
That's Sunday.
Oh, Sunday. Okay.
Open practice on Sunday, 7 o'clock.
That's going to go up again. Oh, 7 o'clock. So it's after the Phillies game.
Yeah.
Okay.
7 o'clock.
All right.
And it's not going up against my QVC appearance.
No. Sunday's a big day for you. You got your QVC in the morning. Then you got the Phillies, which you're all invested in now in the early afternoon. And then you got the Eagles practice at night.
That's right.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be able to sleep. I got 5:45 Monday morning too. So,
oh, jeez.
We'll be up. We'll be up and about.
Now, are they aware of your QVC stuff? Like, will you be recapping that, or are you not allowed to talk about another television network?
I don't think I'm allowed to talk about another network.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not. Yeah, I mean, it technically I'm dabbing in the two. It's not like I'm working for NBC and Fox, but
right. Yeah, they're not real competitors, but so between 7 and 11 Sunday morning,
I'll tweet it out when I know. I'm probably just gonna have to be on call until they bring me on, and then we'll just go from there. So just stick around Twitter. I'll text you guys.
He's gonna have a nervous stomach. He's gonna be throwing up in a bucket, Barrett.
I'm already dealing with that.
He's gonna have a bucket. He's gonna be sweating under his. You better wear a t-shirt under whatever shirt you wear.
Yeah, man, soak it up, bro.
Yeah.
Look, if anything, maybe
it
it's an easy way to lose weight. That's kind of how I look at it. That's the saving grace. Maybe I dropped 5 pounds at a nervous waist.
There you go.
At this point, jeez.
Now, what's more nerve-wracking? That doing this on a Sunday morning or teeing off at Huntington Valley on the first tee when there's a lot of people watching you?
QVC.
Yeah.
Because anybody who knows me knows that I'm not good, and I don't even give a shit anymore about the judgment because, to be honest with you, I even if I like slice it or I have that tail going, as long as it doesn't go like 10 yards into the ground, I'm all right.
Okay.
The likelihood of me, whatever the equivalent is of me hitting the ball 10 yards into the ground off the first tee on QVC, that's now more likely to happen. So that's what I'd be nervous about.
All right.
No. There's nothing now that's secondary to this. So there we have it.
Well, good luck, bro. Anyways, good luck, man.
I appreciate it. Well, we'll talk about it on Monday.
Just don't drink out of a big water jug while you're doing it, or my mom's going to freak out. Yeah. My mom will turn it off. She'll be out.
I tell you, the day that I have to sell one of those things is when your mom is really going to be like, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? All right, we're out of here. Have a great weekend, everybody. Thanks for watching. Leave us a like and make sure you're subscribed to the JAKIB Media YouTube page. Still have Dan Cilio still to come here this afternoon. Have a great weekend, everybody.